मैं वही कह रहा हूँ, फायदा नुकसान दोनों है ना इस चीज का।
The 2-2 split from them could still pay dividends massively. It's been a very elongated firefight between them and HORAA, effectively just mirroring each other's movement up along the ridge into the zone. A little bit more split here. No
भाई इतना जो धीरे बोल रहे हो आप, क्या सीन है?
Right above you in the building as well. Meanwhile, that's an engagement over onto NIGMA Galaxy. S2G, after moving in and cleaning out ALULA, they head center zone and they find the final blow there. Goodbye NIGMA Galaxy. S2G stealing points here, there and everywhere.
अरे शॉर्ट स्ट्रीम ऑन कर दी मैंने, ये बफर हो रही है ना बार बार, ये बीच बीच में बंद हो रही है खुद ही।
This is the kamikaze. This is crazy stuff. The rest of S2G trying to regroup with him, but it's not likely. Kamikaze in play right now. The other hovercraft does go down. Not really any other vehicles. Might need to
₹5 लाख रुपए
back up again, but Kamikaze, he's going to
मुझे
hold
भी
that spot. He's planted the flag, the S2G flag. T24 goes down, jiggle around the side.
Oh, Sleepy. Top side of the stairs, but you can't weather the storm as 4 Fribes arrives and the brain of the operation kicks in the brawn. The shotgun does damage. Falak there in the back line to assist.
रिवाइव हो जाएंगे।
Charging up. He's going to
और वो नहीं करने दे रहा रिवाइव।
now with the timing, see if he can shut them down. Falak charges back, can't do it. No fear, holds on. Quick switch to the primary. Gets himself onto an off angle. With one more play, if he can shut down IQ, he can take out 4.
भाई ORA तो
No fear from HORAA stands up.
क्रेजी निकला।
Absolutely not frightened in the slightest as he moves downstairs, pushes up into the dark, and 4 Thrives will fall. Win.
दब हेलो।
TPS at distance. He's fighting all of them, but S2G falling in the meanwhile. No fear.
कह रही थी दूर दब।
To push out right now.
Get involved in the action.
अविरत भाई बोलने का तरीका भी तो कैजुअल है तुम्हारा। हेलो अनिका, क्या हाल है भाई? अनिका अपना ओजी गेम उसकी वॉच पार्टी। लेट्स गो। अविरत भाई 40 का तो हो गया, कांड हो गया।
Kamikaze keeps spraying the right location with bullets, peppering the ground, picking up mud. Solke in the
अरे तो बहुत पतली जगह थी ना, पतन फंस जाता नहीं तो कैमरा इधर-उधर हो जाता है। भाई S2G के दोनों नॉक पड़े हैं, मर दो यार। और ये S2G का ये कोने में बैठा एक, हेलो।
The battle of the solos to decide our second game, chicken dinner. No fear already picking up that big clutch. He's amped up as an individual. Got a rough read on where he believes Solke can be stationed, tucked in behind this burnt out hovercraft.
I don't think he knows. I think he knows there's a team in that general direction, but he does not know.
पर चिल्ला क्यों रहे हो ये बताओ ना?
Finally goes down. I think No Fear has a rough idea that he's playing on this hovercraft, though. He has the information.
अवेलेबल भाई तीनों टीम का एक-एक है, क्या लगता है?
This would be an unbelievable double clutch up versus 4 Thrives into the last 2 teams. Zeus is just pushing forward. Instant spot though, over towards No Fear. And now Zeus with all to do here. Flash.
भाई फ्लैश भाई तो ओपी है यार, गुस्सा हो गया।
The last to fall potentially here versus Team Flash.
Zeus. The lightning reactions for Flash have guaranteed them a second place, but can he take it to first, or will Soke get it done for S2G? A smoke wall, giving him limited play space. That tree, the only protection for the peak for Flash. He's going to make his move, starts charging in, wants to close the distance. Here's the peak up, bullets on target. Sweer so low, but
अरे
the pressure.
अरे अविरत भाई ये तो S2G। अरे वो खुले में आ रहा था बे, गलत हो गया। ये भाई अपना लेटा हुआ था, अलग आदमी है। क्रेजी हो गया।
the crowd energy. A celebration in unison for the nation as they pop off on that one. S2G locking it down and everyone's living it up.
And it's all in the name because it is all gonna be okay at the end of the game for S2G. They had a lot of confidence coming into this one. They look good on the stage. They look good in the game.
अरे जिंक्स भाई
comeback that we were looking for.
Aggression, confidence.
ये क्या चल रहा है फ्रेंक्स भाई
Showing us a lot of the moves we need.
अच्छा डिस्कॉर्ड वॉल्यूम बनती इतनी गालियां हेलो ग्रेविटी
Rules blank.
I think the thing for me is just, man, 2 matches so far, they have been both electric. I mean, this shot from Zeus.
Oh, the quick reactions, dude. That sent me.
His eyes must be going 2 different directions, man. He'd be seeing everything.
He was so locked in for an
Yeah.
S2G fight. I don't even know how he clocked him, but instantly.
He said it, lightning flash reactions. That's what it is. I mean, so good from this team so far. I mean, they were involved in everything.
Yeah.
I think HORAA, honestly for them, yeah, it's a tough fight versus 4thRISE, but you've got to be happy with the way that No Fear clutched up there. That is an incredible finish of those guys. Yes, HORAA had a good spot on the sideline, but it's so many teams constantly pouring in, cycling
Thanks
out
for the
time
sub,
and time again.
Disha.
I don't think that was an easy game whatsoever.
And you can feel it looks a little bit different with this lobby compared to what we had in isolation in groups, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's so much more quick to the punch, a lot more early contact. And it feels like sometimes we were seeing maybe a bit too much respect for the big dogs. Now everyone's playing on the same level.
गाइस क्या लगता
It
है
feels like we're all
next
equal
कौन
footing
जीतेगा
here. And they're giving it their best. It really has changed the dynamic. But let's get down and hear from Kalaris himself on the stage about what they have to say.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Yes, you can cut the tension with a knife here at the moment for our first 2 games. And I'm here with our winners from game 1, of course, Ralph from NIGMA Galaxy, to talk to about them. Some of the games that have happened so far. So let's talk about that first game in that late game against AURORA there. What was your anticipation as a team? Did you think AURORA had maybe moved a little bit earlier?
एक सेकंड
Talk to me
रुको
about
यार
the late game and what you guys were experiencing.
मैं एक चीज चेंज कर रहा हूं हाँ
I
दिखाओ
mean, we didn't really know. We didn't have much info. But we
कर
just
ले
played it
gravity.
slow, we took our fights
Try
that
कर
we
ले
need to take, and we just secured the win at the end.
I mean, it looks good at the end, right? Of course, getting that many points off of a Rondo. Not
Stats देख ले, stats
for a
देख ले.
grand final like this. That second game, a bit harder, I think.
Yeah, second game was a bit harder. I mean, we have a team hot dropping us, but they're scared to fight.
टेस्ट कर ले ग्रेविटी क्या पता
So we see next game.
फैन
what they do.
फैन हो
I was going to say, were you surprised by that?
अरे मतलब ऐड कर ले यार हर चीज में गंदी
We've
सोच
talked about multiple times. It's your territory. So what are they doing?
They know we want change.
हेलो
so they
जिंक्स
just
भाई
wasted their time.
जिंक्स भाई बता रहा हूँ रिकॉर्ड कर लूंगा काम आएगा फिर ये
They
बात
don't
बाद
wanna
में
fight, so I'm really confused right now.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining
मैं
me.
स्ट्रीम पे हूँ जो बोल रहा हूँ ना सब रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है और आपकी आवाज भी रिकॉर्ड कर रहा हूँ वैसे मैं क्योंकि जो बैकग्राउंड में रिकॉर्डिंग करता रहता हूँ ना स्ट्रीम की रिकॉर्डिंग भी करता हूँ साथ साथ में याद रखता है
I'm Hot Jukes. I just had a massage. And this is my reaction time.
Let's get it.
भाई का रिएक्शन देखो लेट्स गो हमें नहीं जानना ये सब फालतू चीजें बीजीएमआई तो देख नहीं रहे भाई साहब बहुत बेकार बहुत बेकार यार रिएक्शन तो नहीं है ये भाई देख कितना सोच सोच के प्रेस कर रहा है अरे फ्रैक्स भाई ये देख रिएक्शन देखो मना कर रहा है ये बूस आए
This one reaction score is pretty damn good. I actually don't think it has something to do with anything else or anything like that. but
रिएक्शन
what
इज
about you,
प्रीटी
Jukes?
गुड हेलो
Hmm?
मरिया
I don't care. Cut.
कट मतलब एक वो होता है ना कि आजा बेटा तेरा रिएक्शन टाइम देखते हैं भाई ये स्किन
Is he
620 हो गए
whole
नहीं
load
हुए
of extra time, but he has to win on demand if he wants to advance to the semis.
Somebody's key is going to get crushed
Arjun
after
got
this game. This was the
645
third place
times.
game last year. We're playing now to get eliminated on elimination day, get your key crushed, and we're going to see the winner come back tomorrow, either the first place or the third place game, and the loser going to get their key crushed, and their tournament's over. It's a winner take all, or in this case, if you're black, draw take it all. Arjun has the black pieces, 6 minutes. 45 seconds to 10 minutes.
अरे PUBG में नहीं होता क्या जैसे?
Draw odds. They're about to start. May the best person win.
May the best person win. Wow. Hikaru with the white pieces, 10 minutes. We have 6 minutes and 45 for Arjun. But
यार अर्जुन के लिए थोड़ा सा दिक्कत हो गई 645
and
टाइम
it's going to be a repeat, well, almost a repeat of the last game as the bishop comes out. And now we have again the light square bishop coming out, and this time Hikaru says, let me
अरे मेरे को चेस का भी एक्सेस मिला हुआ है ना प्राइस भाई, इसलिए कर रहा हूँ बस मैं, नहीं तो दिक्कत हो जाए घर से उठा ले। पर यार ये मेरे को बेकार लगता है कि जो बाकी सब ड्रॉ होगा और लास्ट में ये होता है ना, जबकि भाई थोड़ा सा बिडिंग मेरे को पसंद नहीं है। Don't know why, but yeah.
Just not quite finding his rhythm when it
हाँ
comes
अभी
to
स्टार्ट ही
the
हुआ है।
headsets. But
645 टाइम मिला है, सोचो भाई डिसएडवांटेज स्टार्टिंग से ही है भाई पे।
on the aggressive. We're expecting the knight to come out, attack the bishop. You can also start pawn storming on the right side of the board.
फ्रैंक्स
He
भाई
goes for that.
इस भाई पे 10 मिनट है, ठीक है, फिर भी इसका 122 हार्ट रेट है, इसका 76 है, 75 73 भाई का तो कम हो रहा है बल्कि 70 70 71 अरे अरे 60 ले ना। फ्रैंक्स भाई क्या बोले? और एक बार बताऊं फ्रैंक्स भाई, कल का मैं आपको स्ट्रीम दिखाऊंगा अर्जुन का, ठीक है, ये अर्जुन वर्सेस किसका था, प्रणेश का था शायद से मैच, ऐसे 12 का प्रणेश भाई। इस भाई का 47 हार्ट रेट है, 47। हेल्दी ह्यूमन का तो है ही नहीं, चेस के अंदर 47 हार्ट रेट भाई, कितना चिल बंदा है। और इसका देखो कम होता जा रहा है फ्रैंक्स भाई, देख रहे हो, ऐसा लग रहा है सांस रोक के बैठा है, देखो बड़ा बड़ा थोड़ा सा बड़ा। पर इसका तो 60 से नीचे है, इसका तो 50 से भी नीचे जा रहा है, उसका क्या?
There's still a lot of danger in this position because it's not entirely clear
ये मतलब
which direction the black king is going to be headed.
That's right.
अच्छा Discord वॉल्यूम बंद है।
Sacrificed his H pawn. So if black ever castles king side, the open H line. Dangerous. If black castles queen side, half of our viewers think that move is illegal.
पर फिर भी इसका टाइम कितनी जल्दी गया, इसने 40 सेकंड लिया बस अब तक। ये भाई 2 मिनट ले चुका है हिकारू भाई। हिकारू नाकामुरा ईलो रेटिंग देखो भाई, फालतू नहीं बोलना चाहिए भाई को, गुस्सा हो जाएगा।
Hikaru's queen is almost trapped over there on a3. Doesn't really have time for queen d6 because the b2 pawn needs babysitting. So this looks like Arjun's doing well out of the opening. He stops queen b4 the only way he can with bishop to d6. Knight c8, trying to get rid of white's 2 bishops. Is Hikaru going to give the 2 bishops back? How does Hikaru try to get an advantage from this position?
Exactly.
So far, opening has been in Arjun's favor.
It has, and Arjun is doing everything by the book. When your king is in trouble, try and trade off queens. And look at that, the bishop is right there in black's camp, and Arjun is driving that bishop backwards. And this is fantastic technique. And Hikaru now has to show us why he has compensation for that missing pawn. It's not going to be easy. I mean, is he going to go on the offensive, move the knight, attack the queen?
अरे पर इतना टाइम का फायदा क्या हुआ हिकारू भाई आपका? आप 3 मिनट ले चुके हो।
Get rid of that horrible
इस भाई ने अभी 1 मिनट लिया बस।
You can even castle yourself, or you can try and drive out that queen.
टाइम जा रहा है। लाले अर्जुन
It seems like he believes the same thing. He's
Oh,
pretty unhappy.
attacking.
Black can legally castle queenside now, no matter what my students think about that. Black could also play queen b4, trying to kick the queen out. I don't see enough compensation for white for the missing H pawn. So it looks like Arjun's doing really well. The best Hikaru could hope for is to get an equalish kind of position. but he's
हिकारू
still gonna
फंस
be
गया.
down a
अरे
pawn,
उधर
and
निकल
he has
गया
to give the
थोड़ा
draw
सा.
odds. Hikaru needs to win.
Hikaru has to win. You know, there's no doubt about it. He is the rule of the game. It's Armageddon. The queen is going to be driven backwards. Okay, now he has to go all in, and he does it. He's just breaking out into the center, and now there is pressure in the position. The temperature is rising because Arjun, where's he going to go with his king? And next question, should he capture in the middle? I don't think so. That's simply going to be improving the white knight. So instead, I think that now is the time to take it
Oh, he can
easy.
give check.
Oh, there's no take it easy move, Ben.
No, there's not. Yeah, Arjun never takes it easy anyway. The only thing he takes it easy with is his heart rate. When he's playing chess, he likes to play the most tactical, complicated line that he's calculated, as Hikaru likes to do now too. I think Hikaru did a good job after misplaying the opening of trying to get some position where he has compensation for a pawn. Arjun leaves his rook on h8 since white has the rook on h1 on the open file. He's going to put his king on g7, get his queen rook over to the center, and say, okay, Hikaru, I'm a pawn up. I got draw odds. What you got?
Yeah, and he has one thing. He's got pressure down the E line. It's going to be the knight jumping in. The rook is going to come up and line against the bishop. That is Hikaru's target. That is the spot. And suddenly there is a big trouble on the horizon for Arjun as he has to navigate that. Maybe he can step up with his king, cover some weak points, and the black knight can go on the defensive. He goes for it. Oh, this is getting ropey. It's not the kind of position you want to be playing as black. Feeling the pressure, and your clock only 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
No, the first 10 moves of the game advantage Arjun. The last 5 moves of the game advantage Hikaru. He's getting counterplay. His lead on the clock is becoming imminent. He's looking really good. He's got pressure against Arjun's king. All 3 results are possible. Very interesting Armageddon type of game. Hikaru knew when he was down a pawn, he had to do something crazy to get compensation. Queen f6, the engine hates it. It says Hikaru is close to winning now by just taking the bishop on e6 and attacking the black king.
Yeah, but that's such a computer move. Knight takes bishop is definitely seeable, but the whole aspect that this rook landing on the 4th row, protecting everything and getting ready to harass the black queen, that is deep. That is so deep. I'm not sure that Hikaru is going to go for it. He's thinking, shall we show exactly why it's so
Bro,
good?
solve my problem, friend.
Yeah, let's have a look at
My problem
what can happen in
solved.
this game.
Okay.
White
कैसे
can
किया
play
ईशान?
Knight takes e6, rook e4, defending the pawn on d4 from the queen's attack.
वैसे मेन वाली
preparing
स्ट्रीम
to
ज्वाइन
double
कर लो
rooks
ईशान,
on
जो ये
the
लिंक
E
दिया हुआ है
line,
ना.
and also rook f4
चैनल पे
attacking
जाओगे
the
दूसरी
queen.
स्ट्रीम,
So I'm
ये
gonna
वाली
make
वर्टिकल में
some random
नॉर्मल
moves to show
स्ट्रीम
you
पे
one of the
आ
tricks
जाओ.
that we have. If he plays queen e7 here, sometimes we can sacrifice on g6 or h7. The engine says rook g4, for example. White has tremendous pressure on black's king. White's threatening rook takes g6 check, winning immediately. Let's blunder with knight f6. I was
still
blundering
in-
before these players were born. I know how to blunder. And white finishes in a checkmate, and Arjun's key would get crushed. So black has to defend, defend, defend. He doesn't have a lot of time on the clock. He has to play knight f8. And will Hikaru see this, doing the rook lift and attacking? And he doesn't. Instead of moving the rook up and doing a rook lift, attacking g6 and e6, he moves his queen up to c7, attacking on the left side of the board.
And that was supernatural, I gotta say, you know, jumping in with the queen, lifting up with the rook, inviting everyone to the party. Well, that's just something that the all-seeing eye, the computer, is very capable of finding. For us humans, a little bit more tricky. You need a bit more time on the clock. But as the rook comes to defend, well, now Hikaru has found a target,
लगता है
and
PmwC
it
कौन
has the
जीतेगा?
name of the e-pawn. And how is Arjun gonna defend that one?
इंडियन टीम के लिए कोई भी नहीं खेल रहा है. अर्जुन खेल रहा है उसके जेंजी के लिए, शायद से जेंजी का ही सिंबल है शायद से,
The
if I'm
black
not
king
wrong.
on g7 is permanently under attack. advantage
हिकारू किसके लिए? हिकारू का
Hikaru
देखना
not only
पड़ेगा.
winning on the board now, still has a big time advantage. Hikaru outplaying Argent this game.
GPU
The
driver
pressure
को
is getting to
install करके
Argent.
reinstall
His heart
किया
rate's already above 70.
तो
Amazing.
हो गया.
Yeah,
बाकी
exactly.
गेम
Arjun
reinstall
now
and
on the
repair
brink
पहले
because
किया था,
he
उससे कुछ
cannot
नहीं हुआ.
defend that pawn on
GPU
E6.
driver की वजह
But
से
look
हुआ.
at that. That pawn was the only blockade
ये
of
तो
the
बड़ा
rook on the E line, and things are going from bad to
एडवांटेज तो
worse.
ठीक है, बट थोड़ा सा
As we are
टाइम.
seeing that the white rook can slide over, attack
अरे
the queen.
white
You
वाले
do
इस
have to
हिकारू के पीछे
calculate
से
what's
है.
going to happen after some checks, but it is now.
हाँ
All
हाँ
systems go for Hikaru. Can
भाई,
he
ये तो
do it?
बड़ा
Can he find the right continuation?
He does.
क्रेजी इशू है. मतलब ईशान भाई इस ग्राफिक ड्राइवर से फ्रेंडली ये तो कुछ मैच नहीं हुआ. मतलब ठीक है, हो गया, अच्छी बात है आपका, बट इशू मैच नहीं हुआ कुछ. ऐसे होता नहीं है बल्कि, क्योंकि अनइंस्टॉल से नहीं हुआ तुम्हारा, रीइंस्टॉल अनइंस्टॉल रिपेयर सब हो गया. Crazy shit. अरे पता है इसका क्या इशू था प्रैंक्स भाई? एक बार आप सर्वर पे ही एक वो है प्रैंक्स भाई, मीडिया शेयर में जाओ, आपको दिखेगा ईशान ने भेजा हुआ है. मीडिया शेयर में ऊपर स्क्रॉल करोगे ना, ईशान ने जहाँ पे बोला हुआ है, ईशान ने कुछ फोटोज 2 अगस्त को फोटो डाली थी एक, देखो. इसकी फ्रेंड लिस्ट नहीं दिख रही. इसने अनइंस्टॉल रीइंस्टॉल रिपेयर सब कर लिया, और ये इशू इसका बहुत टाइम तक था. फिर इससे जीपीयू का बस ड्राइवर अपडेट किया, इसका इशू फिक्स हो गया. मतलब लिंक नहीं हुआ, कुछ प्रॉब्लम, समझ रहे हो भाई? मैं 25 दिन से परेशान था. हाँ वही ना, इशू मैच नहीं हुआ. एएमडी के ओल्ड जीपीयू के बीटी है. अच्छा, पुराना एएमडी जीपीयू यूज कर रहा है. कौन सा वाला? मतलब ईशान, अरे जो अर्जुन भाई हाथी घोड़ा पाल की वो निकल गया. अर्जुन का हार्ट रेट देखना फ्रैंक्स भाई, 61. भाई का डबल से भी ज्यादा है, हिकारू का डबल. RX 50 550. अरे भाई,
is because of the bid, his clock situation is really poor. He does have
अरे
odds.
RX 550
King
550
A1, Hikaru tucks his king away.
भाई बहुत पुराना है शायद से. 550 तो
safe
OG
now
ग्राफिक कार्ड हो
behind all
गया.
of his pawns. And the question is, how does black break through?
कब लॉन्च हुआ था ये?
How does white break through? Will Hikaru trade queens and move his rook to the 7th, or keep the queens on because black's king is on G6? I think he's going to keep the queens on.
Exactly. You always judge whether you want to be trading off queens depending on king's safety. Black's king not safe at all. So look at this lovely
2017 में आया था ये.
pawn on B7, and that's
मैं
it
जब साइबर
for Arjun. He
साइबर
has to
कैफे
again take a
जाकर
decision
लॉगिन किया
where
तो
to
वहाँ
go.
शो
The
कर रहा था,
problem is
मेरे
that the
पीसी
rook
में नहीं
is
दिख
so
रहा था.
mobile. This position is so open. The rooks and queens.
ईशान आप
they
कहाँ से
are
हो?
in
हैदराबाद
their
या बैंगलोर,
element.
कहीं से
Queen
बताया था ना आपने
steps
शायद?
up, and now what's to stop the rook coming up? Get the rook onto the 7th.
I want to take on B7. I like taking on B7. No, he doesn't do either one.
लंका लगने वाली है.
Okay.
Repeats the position, but just one time.
Just one time, and
Bangalore,
he improves
okay.
the queen a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't take the pawn on B7 or come up with the rook, but he starts to just get those pieces into the prime squares.
अगर इसने हटाया तो इसका
Has to move, and
Hikaru better be careful. There's some perpetual checks against his king. His king is getting pretty closed off.
yeah.
So Hikaru has to be careful. Hikaru with 3 minutes on the clock. Arjun only 1 minute and 12.
मैं तो
Anything
हिंदी
can still
सीखने के
happen.
लिए
Hikaru
स्ट्रीम
should
देखता
win,
किसी की भी.
but he still has to have good technique.
लॉल ड्यूड्स,
Arjun's not making
हिंदी
it easy
सीखने के
though.
लिए ये तो
No, he's not making it easy, and at least he gets in a check and comes in with the king. And suddenly, this is not as easy because
No.
knight is the king's best friend. And hell, look at this. Beautiful, beautiful stuff there from Arjun. Sidelining the white rook. And now I feel like Hikaru has to start all over again.
No, he's
and
making
find the
faces
right...
like he doesn't
अभी
like
थोड़ा सा और आगे
I
आएगा.
know, I can understand that. Because there's also the queen is going to drop up. Whoa, I've never seen that. That's such a gutsy move. Coming in with
It doesn't
king.
like it, but we like it. The king goes to G3. Where's Nigel Short when you need him? The king walking up the board.
ये ऊपर किसको
attacking
देख रहा है?
on the
ऊपर से कोई
king
बता रहा है?
side. So black
That's true,
is
sir.
playing on both
Okay,
sides
nice,
of the board.
Ishan.
The king wants to go to G3 and take
Impressive.
the
ये
G2
वाला
pawn. The queen wants to go
अच्छा
to
चीज है.
C4 and get
अगर आप
perpetual
हिंदी सीख
check.
रहे हो,
Hikaru has to stop everything.
Well,
Nice,
he's
nice.
really going bold. with
Valo
his
भी
king,
खेलेंगे ईशान
saying
कब
the safest
टाइम लगता है
place is
खेलेंगे
my
वैलो भी
opponent's
खेलेंगे
side of the board,
एक
but
साथ
that's
खेलता
such
है
a risky strategy. I think now he has to trade off queens.
अब
I mean,
थोड़ा
if
फास्ट
you
गेम प्ले
move the
होने वाला है
knight, the
50
c pawn is
seconds
going to be falling, and so the queens do come off. This is what Arjun had in mind. The question is, does he have enough time? Because this is going to be a race. To move the knight, you can take the pawn, and then you're going to have to take
अर्जुन
the pawn on
का
a4. So black's
जी
pawns
ना
are going to
हो
be disappearing
क्या।
from the left, and it's going to be
वैसे दोनों में
all
से कोई भी
about
जीते मैं
the h
सपोर्ट
pawn
वैसे भी
for Arjun.
एसेट वाला गॉडल
So
को कर रहा हूँ
exciting here. 43 seconds for Arjun left on the
बस
clock.
थोड़ा सा और
Yeah, the
देखते हैं
question is, can
फिर वो
Arjun
मैच
win the
स्टार्ट हो
G2
चुका है एरेंगल
pawn
का
and get that H4
वो
pawn
देखते
down
हैं
to H1. Hikaru calculating. The times are getting closer to equal now. Hikaru less than a minute ahead on the clock. Hikaru trying to figure out everything all the way to the end. He stops black from playing king G3 by playing rook C5. Doesn't want to play king G3 and take the pawn on G2. Here comes the black knight. Now he could take the pawn on C4.
Exactly. Now you can take it with good conscience because there's no way the black king is coming in to snap up those pawns. He does that, the king has to step back, and now you can grab the other pawn. There's nothing to stop Hikaru from taking that pawn. He doesn't even bother. It's all about promoting the pawn. That A pawn is going to be a killer. Be careful because there are some knight checks.
Yeah, that A pawn's too strong. The times are getting close to equal now, but Hikaru's A pawn is too strong. Arjun doesn't have a pass pawn. Both players know that white's winning. They're just going to play it out in case there's a blunder or black's H pawn becomes strong. Seems like every move wins. The A pawn's too strong. The H pawn can be stopped by the rook.
And the
Oh, and
person
it's
who
just
checks-
checkmate. The queen and rook will
Exactly.
give checkmate to the black king. Well, eventually Arjun did make a queen, but he'll get checkmated instead. Queen G6 mate.
And we
Hikaru
feel-
wins. The crowd was right, 87%. They knew what was going on.
Wow, needing to win on demand. Hikaru strikes again. What a game. Sacrificing a pawn in the opening.
बहुत अच्छा
The entire tournament.
ये हिकारू जीता लास्ट में उसने कन्वर्ट कर दिया ना क्वीन मिल गई उसको पॉन से कन्वर्ट कर लिया और उसने जाके कॉर्नर में चेकमेट कर दिया
Vitality.
भाई ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे वो बंदे नहीं लेके जाते पुलिस में पुलिस वाले
We're seeing him over towards Gakko, but they grabbed themselves the loot truck.
अरे लोडिंग पे हेलो ये लो क्या हुआ है मेरे को लगा मेरा नेट गया चलो थोड़ा पीछे चल लेगा कोई दिक्कत नहीं
Circle up towards that north side, split between the lake. Yasnaya on the south side, on school, as well as
मैं थोड़ा सा पॉज कर देता हूँ फिर से पॉज चलाऊंगा पीछे चल रहे ज़्यादा अच्छा है एज कम्पेयर टू एक बार रिफ्रेश कर लेता हूँ
here for repairs. He's got more bullets though.
Yeah, only 18
भाई
left.
सोम बहुत अच्छा सही कर रहा है वो
One of the
इधर
clips,
से
17 in a hole. Let's see if he can turn some bodies cold on this push-up. Top going to drop down back behind the car. So
Nice.
Aurora taking a fair bit of damage. More reserve taps now. Got to find himself some ammo to play with. Switch it out to the Tommy just to keep the pressure on them. Suppressive fire.
Spraying it through, cutting the grass, but not quite finding the shots over towards the players. Next circle, 10 seconds roughly on this one. Aurora still figuring out where they want to play. Probably going to be a big old retreat here out. Migrate for a lot of squads. Hard shift potentially. No, actually.
zone
very, very kind
Yasnaya
north side.
style-
Obviously,
अरे
Lake is a
भाई
bit of an
साहब।
awkward one to play around. You're going to see a lot of people playing on the rocky outcrops. The
सिवरनी
staging
के
that goes
ऊपर
up towards
Yasnaya
Stalber, big old
crazy zone है।
mountain
40 देखो कहाँ से आ रही है प्राइस भाई अभी ब्रिज क्रॉस किया इनने
You got the field down towards Yasnaya too, so there's
Crazy,
not a
bro.
huge amount of fun spots to play in. You have to
बहुत ज़्यादा slow
decide a
खेल रही है
rotation
40
in now and quickly. Do you wrap on the north? Do you wrap on the south? Because you can't really change that as time goes on because of
ओजी के
Yas
सारे जिंदा हैं गॉडल का एक निपट ही चुका है कौन निपटा
Woman from EARENA once again. Being able to throw out some big uppercuts. That's back onto Aurora. So
So single knock there with the Tianba POV on rotation. Get themselves
HORAA का
into a fair
भाई
place
NGX
so
का
far.
एक बचा है।
Keeping it going.
OG के ऊपर रश हुआ है क्या?
That's
हाँ रश
vitality
हुआ
as
है।
well, with Razy hitting a very big blow back onto Godlike. A lot of fights breaking out across the battleground, individuals being knocked. Ulf coming in with some show-stopping rotates. Oh, right into the nade.
कल बेटे
That one ready for him. Got it primed. I mean, for Ulf, Eren comes in swinging. But yeah, got shot
Wiz
down
got the
very, very
first
quickly
grenade
there.
elimination.
Scarface looks to send a nade, but I don't even know if I think it's worth it anymore to go for this. Ulf's deep on the south side of the map, need to swing back further.
OG का revive हो गया?
In Yazway,
करो
ALULA
इसको।
instantly takes up the cliffside. Aurora decides they're going to go loot Severny. I mean, to be fair, they had taken quite a fair hit earlier on. Spent a little bit of ammo. Potentially some of the vests are starting to wear down, some of the helmets. Get some resets on that before you get moving.
दो नेड है अभी भी कर देगा बे ULF का गेम खराब करेगा इधर TIANBA ने VIT के मारा
Vitality killer bees once more. And it's Milu that's already showing that consistent form. Putting himself up to 10 elims on the day, I believe, then after that. Nice start for the first 3 games.
इसको क्यों लग रहा है ऊपर है
Milu keeping it a little bit quiet though. Now playing a little bit of split on this one. They've got Eagle a little bit further forward, perched up. Over towards Aura. Very much slowing down now at the halfway portion, Jackie.
S2GFL
Trying to maintain some of that lead because some teams have struck out in a big way. I mean, NIGMA Galaxy are absolutely 30 points right now. AURORA at 26. They were able to earn 3 after that last game. On the first, I think they got 23 on that one. So last game was a bit of a dud. Hope they can find more of this one. Centers up over towards TIANBA as well as Aura. So those 2 compounds there are going to be a really big deal. Aura actually has the high ground on this one, the plateau that surrounds them. Very nice to be able to take shots out towards teams as they push on in. Sadly, ALULA's much more high ground spot gets pulled off. So you're going to have to move over towards that western side. Yasser.
गॉडल का एडमिनो दिख रहा है मेरे को एक ही है गॉडल का
Let's move for 4 thrives though, Jackie. This is good.
एक सेकंड
4 thrives still looking pretty nice.
गॉडल कहाँ पे है अच्छा एक ही बच रहा है
Another roster we know that could be very explosive. Let's see if they can bring the boom on this one straight up towards the setup from ALULA. Quick on top.
एडमिनो बच रहा है अभी तो 3 बच रहे थे मतलब मैंने देखा ही नहीं टाइमलाइन कब कौन था 40 कहाँ से जा रही है बिल्कुल कॉर्नर से
Fast reactions onto the position of Falag, but the shot's not connecting.
Falag taking a little bit of damage here, down to half.
Falag भाई निपटेंगे इधर
Closes the nade though. It's not the craziest of sends on this one. Good bounce on it actually. That would have been on target if he hadn't moved. I mean, Falag just takes the time. Here's the arc on that one. So he doesn't want to have any part of it. Tough circle though, man. Very, very tough circle. The majority of the center is taken up by that water. I actually do really like S2G's position. They're playing over towards those compounds that sit just a little bit east over towards the lake itself. Oh, sorry, the cliff face. You got flashed down towards those compounds, but S2G currently playing on that rocky outcrop on the northern side, just holding out teams on the south here. TIANBA's actually even going to crunch in towards that little bank.
ये जो बीच में पॉज हो रहा है ना मुझे गुस्सा आ रहा है इसमें
Fine margins between this going wrong for either of these 2 teams in 4 thrives and ALULA. So not wanting to risk it too much. Meanwhile, OG crossing past the crosshairs of NONGSHIM REDFORCE with Zizzy taking the peak over the top. Got the heavy weaponry ready to rock them if they stay close by. And luckily they have at least been able to create some space between the 2. Double back over to the bridge where Rolf is stationed.
Yeah, they know OG's in the area as well. See, Aaron struggled versus them earlier on his flying maneuver into the gas station. Tried to go for the movie entrance, but we went straight to credits instead. Yeah, Ulf hoping to hold them on the bridge side. Next circle, though, I'm feeling the pizza slice here over towards the west. I mean, Aurora currently have a really strong position on it, and we do head over there, in fact. But it's like a case of Aurora holding the central spot. They have a lot of 360 vision, but it's very open, Jackie. This is a very, very open area, a little bit unfun. There's quite a few radio towers and the square concretes that sit underneath them that end up being like where you play. You literally just lie down next to them, try and set up vehicles. You can see Vitality already sending over. But this is quite a nice spot for Aurora. It's a tiny bit of hard cover, a little bit of a crescent lit behind them as well.
Well, that's the last man from NIGMA Galaxy, and Ralph trying to stay alive for as long as he can, but finally falls to S2G. S2G possibly being collapsed upon as well by 4Thrives.
S2G
They
guy.
fall next.
Yeah,
Let's
good
go.
fight. Very good fight from 4Thrives. S2G tried to jump the gun there, Jackie, and ran straight into titanium wall. A lot of hopes riding on these three players from Aurora, though. Another good game here. Sets them a little bit further ahead. Make up for that previous match there on Erangel. Not the greatest of pushes across the bridge to begin.
To be fair, with NIGMA and S2G going down early, not really acclimating too many points on this one. It could be the dream recovery for Aurora if they can keep it up. Unfortunately for Godlike, Adamino unable to withstand the hit that is thrown towards him. FURIA will get their mates back up and live on to fight on this one. 4 of our squads out of the running into the 3rd game so far.
NONGSHIM on that south side, actually trying to push on in, but there's quite a few teams there. NONGSHIM's just gonna barge over towards OG. A Tanky's already down. Another nade towards the backside here. Good damage from Hyunbin, as always. Looking very, very strong. Hits the deck. Good dodge on that. Second nade's a bit stronger, though. Aru now needs to get back into action. The rest of NONGSHIM REDFORCE lagging behind as Flash still continues to create a little bit of a nuisance for them in tops.
Back and forth blows, but Orangutan still being able to withstand. Uncomfortable for NONGSHIM, actually, man. Yeah, that's a nice flick back up towards the Wizard Tower, and it keeps him pinned in position, so he can't provide too much overwatch.
He's in a bad spot now. I mean, no position to help the rest of his team. It's a cool side swipe coming through from tops as well. Caused so many problems on the back line there for NONGSHIM REDFORCE. Just weren't quite quick enough. He's going to have an even deeper look into this one. He wants to get up close and personal, investigate. Potentially some more eliminations here left at the crime scene.
He's still trying to get an angle on this. The minute you got to move, he'll be ready for the catch. And FURIA over on the other side of the coast have been taking shots over as well, so it's all been a little bit uncomfortable for the 4 squads that have been collapsing in onto that one position. This gas station for OG somehow being a very formidable defensive area.
Oh. Calling it from zone 3 there. I got a little bit lucky, but yeah, Aurora in a really, really good spot now. This is definitely redeemable city here for Aurora. We just need to not see them go for something silly again. That is all.
Yeah, just keep their cards close to their chest and be able to close this one out with some good plays. To be honest, mate, that is kind of the dream with what we saw off the back of this game with the other squads above them falling out early. It has presented that opportunity, and like you say, if they can grab it, you've recovered from that. We can all forget about game 2. Everything looks good for them, and they'd actually be on that podium spot in 1st place come the end of this game. But that's still in the future. Still a lot of other teams that could potentially look to upset them. So we'll stick with the narrative as it develops. This is their position right now. 4-5's going in against the arena. Doc looking to decimate some damage out, and he does hit. Nice. Good shot onto Falak. A little bit more they can do here.
I like that though. Good smoke.
Towards the wrong side
to kind of isolate this engagement between them and 4-5's in the arena on the northern edge. Makes a ton of sense to me as well. That vitality location is going to be a real problem for you. That's a long nade. Ooh. Actually hits on target. Great damage, and they just keep on pumping in. 4-5s are out. But yeah, I mean, that's some massively long nades on that one.
Just chaining them together as well. One after another, after another. They want to go in to grab the bits. Drop the smoke, try and stay alive. Issue is you're now in a position where other teams can take shots onto you for free.
Yeah. Good. I mean, Doc is holding on. He is holding on. I think he's got that mentality where it's like, well, I'm sorry guys, I ran out that time. I will play anchor for the rest of the day, and I will keep you lads safe. It's a good shot over towards Silence. The rest of Furia need to re-angle over towards it, but it takes a gun away from that western side. But Aurora had to do that. They had to push over towards 4-5s. They knew that it's not likely in the near future they're going to be getting many more death crates, and they need that util. They need that ammo to carry on inside of this match. TIANBA though looming off in the wings.
Had to restock and get themselves ready for what's yet to come. TIANBA, they've been doing a pretty effective job of harassing a lot of our other squads from distance as well throughout the past couple minutes, keeping pressure on them. Playing a little bit safer here in their setup. Window peak with good eye line onto some of the other teams. Scarface on the long wrap around, back up the coastal ridge, over towards the bridge side, going to be coming in from the back near Vitality and Flash. This is his angle on the move. Ooh, spotted out. Starting to lose his HP bit by bit. Got to drop down to the deck and hope that he can hold on.
Can't even sure how he's lived this long. I mean, Tops has got to know someone's move here, the pitter-patter of the footfall. Close the distance. Scarface is instead just going to go for the heel. Tops pulls the pin. He should know. It should be right on the edge of the blue here. Good airburst will do the trick. Ruins the amount of healing that came through there. Aura from the sidelines though will get sleepy and over towards Bose. Top though is the one to refrag over towards that. TIANBA aching moving forward. Gets behind that radio tower. This is a good spot to aggress over towards Aurora on. But more importantly, hold out on the southeast side. Good nades again. Goodness me, Aurora's having none of it.
You feel the base on that one. More coming as well. Airburst over the top side, trying to arc it round the corner. Ooh. Eagles crossing his fingers, hoping the smoke is enough to get the pick-up play back on Aching to stay alive.
I wonder if they're going to push this, Jackie.
I mean, with a molly, you could. You get the spread on it, just try to follow up off the back. You know they're weak.
Oh, man. I think they just wanted to get the flush, at least, but not meant to be. That's a lot of nades invested there for basically nothing. Aching's going to send back one of his own. Now they're fully set up over here on the radio tower.
सही टाइम पे देख लिया मेल.
Chip damage from the nade should be good enough. So start to bombard now.
अरे EWC का मेल था.
Splitting the difference on these ones. They know they have to go for one side, and it is over towards.
अरे वो कॉर्नर में कैम नहीं लगाना ना. यहाँ पे स्पॉन्सर और ये सब लिखा है EWC का.
And should survive the second.
उन्हें वो ये मेल आया कि आप वो क्योंकि वो हर टाइम देखते रहते हैं ना. हम ये सोच रहे हैं कि नहीं देखते. हर चीज नोटिस करते हैं भाई वो. हर सेकंड उनके पास इंफॉर्मेशन. हम क्या बात कर रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं.
6 nades thrown out for no real follow-up from it. So it goes both ways for either of these two teams. Top with the instant adjustment back over onto EARENA. No, he's being collapsed upon from two sides between this team.
Shreps now.
तो कहाँ पे करूँ मैं समझा नहीं. अब सही है देखो. हल्का सा ऊपर. अरे यार स्पॉन्सर तो हर जगह ही आएंगे मेरे को. मैं कहाँ डालूँ मैं इसके अंदर. अरे मैं इधर कर देता हूँ थोड़ा. इधर कर देता हूँ.
TIANBA's playing as a four-man, and genuinely the way they weather the storm here versus Aurora, they
नहीं,
have a
मैंने
place to play inside the circle going forward. It's more about dealing with the couple of players inside of that shack right there.
बॉटम राइट में कर दूं।
To line up those
हाँ
nades.
अरे हाँ तो मैं बोल सकता हूँ ना भाई, मैं जो प्लेयर अगर अच्छा नहीं खेल रहा उनके लिए रखा है मैंने, उनका नाम चुपके थोड़ा। और पता है, अरे मजाक कर रहा हूँ, अरे भाई लेफ्ट साइड पर मेरे पास एक पॉइंट है गाइस, ठीक है। स्नैक्स ऑफिशियली स्ट्रीम कर रहा है ना वहां से, स्नैक्स ने कॉर्नर में रखा हुआ है, इतने दिन से कॉर्नर में ही था, लेफ्ट कॉर्नर में जहाँ पे मैंने रखा हुआ है। मैंने स्नैक्स का ही देख के उधर रखा था, नहीं तो मैं मेरा पहले ऊपर था। लाले उसका तुम कल की स्ट्रीम देखो, कल परसों की।
Oh, this is unbelievable.
पर अब तो राइट कॉर्नर में रख दिया, अब तो ठीक है।
Vitality looked like it was all said and done, but they pop off on that one against TIANBA's clash in, knowing they needed to shut them down to get themselves any sort of ammunition, any kind of supplies to play on, and it does not work how they wanted.
Wild stuff. The arena now. Send some nades in. Joel's the first to fall off the back of that. They have just played this game nice and slow from that northern side, trying not to get too involved in things. They've been saving up these nades.
उनका आ गया थैंक यू का। सॉरी यार EWC वालों, प्लीज सॉरी, गलती हो गई, गुस्सा ना करो।
Finishes off the stragglers.
भाई मुझे एक चीज समझ नहीं आती, ये अच्छा ठीक है टायर फोड़ रखा है ना, मैं कहूँ गाड़ी तो सीधी चल रही है, मेरी स्क्रीन में दिख रहा है वो सरक रही है। यार फ्यूर पता नहीं स्नैक्स की स्ट्रीम देख रहा होगा। अरे मेरे को आवाज ही नहीं आ रही भाई की, इतना मैंने गेम का साउंड बहुत ज्यादा है मेरे में। हेलो हाँ ओके बाय बाय।
He wants more on the game and they are delivering. He goes down, big player on the squad. Now it's time for the likes of ALULA as well as Chief to stand up tall. EARENA, they saved all their potential up for that late game though. We saw how much ammo they still had board, how many smokes they still had remaining. His team basically played this one out for the chicken dinner. For EARENA, it's sort of not worth it unless they get the chicken dinner on this one. The amount they saved up, 5 nades still in the hand of Schweppes.
थैंक यू का ही था ना, देख लेता हूँ फिर से।
Getting a second place is nice though, but yeah, it's this open ground, disgusting.
वो तो पता है ग्रेविटी, मेरी आदत है ना मेल्स चेक करने की, बाय चांस मैंने चेक कर लिया कि ये देख लेते हैं क्या दिक्कत है। भाई मेरा नजर चली गई, अच्छा है भाई मेल चेक करने की आदत है जयराम जी। नहीं तो जैसे मेरा पहले होता था ना ग्रेविटी की, चाहे स्ट्राइक आ गई कुछ महीने बाद, भाई स्ट्राइक में लोग जो हेटर है, मैं उसकी वजह से चैनल पे इतनी स्ट्राइक आई है मेरे, कभी नहीं आती। अरे नेड भाई भाग के नेड कर रहा है फिर लेट जा रहा है, क्या फायदा लेटने का। अरे ईए का कैसे पहुंच पा रहा है सीधा सेंटर से, पीछे फ्यूरिया वाला क्या कर रहा है। ग्रेविटी राका ने एपेक्स ज्वाइन कर लिया पता है।
Stand off between these two teams with open space in front of them, waiting to be crunched forth. Silence with the big guns in the back line, ready to spray.
अरे ओजी जो लोग हैं ना, ओजी मतलब ओजी स्ट्रीमर्स हैं जो, ये सब एक साथ आके मतलब वो अच्छा कर रहे हैं। और मैं तो चाहता हूँ भाई टीबोन भी आ सकता है, मैं मेरे को लग रहा है फाटू भी आ सकता है।
I think there's a little bit of scaredness of that front line being aggressed upon.
भाई अगर कैरेमिनाटी आ गया ना स्ट्रीमिंग के उसमें मतलब क्योंकि स्ट्रीम तो करता ही है कभी कभी करता कोई दिक्कत नहीं बट कर
battleships right now.
किससे
Grenade to E5. You missed by a mile.
पता नहीं ए अरे अरे बच गया बग्गी के ऊपर ग्रेविटी किस्मत थी फ्यूरिया वाले की
Start forest fire out in this field of Erangel right now. Be the best opportunity for them. That one actually hits.
He's happy to drive into it though. Okay.
Assist.
I mean, I think we could just wait on these names.
पर राका के लिए मैं बहुत खुश हुआ है चल फाइनली अब अच्छा मतलब अब कंटेंट आ सकता है जॉनी राका
Ayala's just going to swing round, right?
Not how I expected the first domino to fall, but that's Ayala going in and opening things up with an advantage for EARENA.
नहीं वो जाएगा नहीं बूट कैंप टाइप में
So there's been an end game. It has been an end game.
अरे देखो एक फैमिली का बहुत वो रहता है भाई अब मैं हूँ मैं भी मेरे भी बहुत रीजंस है
Decent Molotov these ones actually, trying to catch them on the rotate out. MG3 could make all the difference. Joker's about to send this nade back into the blue.
बट फैमिली का बहुत हो भाई फैमिली कम्स फर्स्ट पैसा तो जिंदगी में कोई इतना नहीं होता भाई फैमिली इंपॉर्टेंट भाई क्या नेड था वो किस्मत थी
Chief with a peek up, there you go. Follow up off the back of it. Let's see if they can deal some damage. Silence peeks up. Warning
वो लगी
low on health, got about half left to play with. Runs in towards the tree. He's got the shotty in his hands now. Yeah, all right, it's all kicking off here. They're going to be able to
Let's
find it
go,
through the
big.
EARENA.
क्या निकाला
A bit of a topsy-turvy one, but a chicken dinner they'll still be proud of.
ये तेरे को लगा नहीं था ये निकाल लेगी
Good game from EARENA. I think that the game plan was great. I think everyone confused one another right at the end. Igor's, as he went down, I think he might have thrown out some information that was maybe less than useful. Unfortunate stuff. To be fair, whilst he was still alive, they had a real good pinpoint on what EARENA was doing. So I am joking. It's a joke, guys. I do think Igor's a great player. But yeah, still a weird end game.
Yeah, it was a lot of utility investment with not too much information. Kind of felt like it was, we don't want to push, so we're just going to lob everything.
pause करो
Full gunfight once we get it.
चेस का स्ट्रीम बी एंड स्ट्रीम ए कहाँ पे स्ट्रीम में नहीं दिखा आ रहा क्या बस यहाँ से ले लेते हैं
ALULA's been playing very fast.
How about that centralized knight there on d5? An absolute monster of a piece that cannot even be touched right
अच्छा
now.
हंस एक हार चुका है एक राउंड भाई एक तो पता है ग्रेविटी जिन गेम्स की मैंने ली थी ना एक्सेस सबके मैचेस एक ही दिन है सोच रहे हो
How do you feel taking on that Titan?
Yeah, it's going to be, of course, an extremely tough match, and I just want to give it my all and hope for the best.
Let's go, Nihal. It is time to kick off that second match. Nihal, can I have you stand right there for the pre-match face-off? Rob, absolute banger.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is officially about.
यार भाई फिर से अटक गया ये स्ट्रीम ही इसमें की अटक रही क्या मेरे को लग रहा है
That time, only one of these players is going to move forward. Let's go ahead and get things started. It is time for Nihal versus Magnus Carlsen.
And it's showtime. We have an epic matchup here in the quarterfinals. Magnus Carlsen.
Magnus का मैच प्रेडिक्शन 86%.
One of the fastest players on the world, and Ben, we are going to be in for a treat.
हाँ क्योंकि अभी ब्रेक टाइम है तो मैं चेस पे आ गया भाई ये वाला जो स्क्रीन है ना ग्रेविटी ऐसा रखना फायदेमंद है मेरे लिए पता है मैं अपना फेस कैम राइट कॉर्नर रख सकता हूँ
This was my two picks that when they asked us to pick our favorites. These were my two.
नहीं वैसे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, पता है बहुत फ्रेंडली है, नहीं तो ग्रेविटी उनको क्या मतलब, सीधा स्ट्राइक डाल दें, क्यों मेरे को मेल करके कह रहे कि वो हटा दीजिए, अच्छे लोग हैं इसीलिए तो ये। हाँ नहीं तो भाई आजकल मैंने देखा हुआ है भाई, बहुत एजेंसीज हैं, बहुत हुए हैं, सीधा स्ट्राइक मारने पे विश्वास रखती हैं।
With NIGMA, we're not going to see 4 draws here, so it's going to be some decisive results. It's going to be exciting.
इसका वो चेकिंग हुई है क्या, हाथ पे क्या चेक कर रहे थे?
Magnus, who has the white pieces, the first game is going to want to get off on the right foot.
Exactly. I mean, the two did play at the EWC last year. There, it was a convincing victory for Magnus. Magnus is going to be looking to repeat that.
निहाल का कल भी सेम इशू था, आईएम्स नहीं लग रहे थे।
That's right. He's going to want to make up for last year. Nihal having good tournaments so far, having to win some matches. Looks like so far Magnus has been coasting. Maybe he wasn't feeling well on his first day. Looks like he feels pretty good now. So we're going to see a really exciting match. And I don't expect a lot of draws, UOV. I think we're going to see some decisive results this match.
And it's interesting, right? Because most people, when they don't play very well and they play at 50%, they don't play that well. But Magnus still managed to cruise past Yesipenko, Hans Niemann, and just effortlessly got himself a spot into the top 8. For Nihal Sarin, it's been a lot tougher. He was knocked down to the lower bracket by Arjun Erigaisi, but then he beat yesterday on demand Wei Yi, Jan-Christoph Duda.
Wow.
Big names.
Look, everybody's a big name in this tournament. There's no easy baskets. Every match is tough. Every game is tough. And here we go. We have a Sicilian to start out game 1 of the match.
We do have a Sicilian as the knight comes, takes the pawn, and look at this. We have business as the knights get open. This is an open Sicilian, so this really means that both sides are going to be playing aggressively.
We have a knight or a Sicilian. Pretty recently, players have been starting to play H3, but it's funny. I was doing a lecture.
निहाल भाई टाइम जा रहा है।
With A6.
Yep, and it's good as you can see.
Yeah. And it's funny, one of the games I analyzed was from Bobby Fischer in the 60s, and Fischer played H3, which prevents black from playing knight G4 later. And here's a move I don't know. Nihal Sarin played H6. This stops white from playing bishop G5, which usually doesn't play in the line with H3. Typically, white wants to play G4, bishop E3, and maybe at some point play G5. So H3, pretty common move. H6, I don't know. And Magnus plays a slightly unusual move, bishop D3. We're getting into uncharted territory. There's so many different lines in the knight orf. Sometimes white castles kingside, which seems likely here. Sometimes white develops the queenside pieces and castles queenside. And it's a good question whether Nihal's going to keep the king in the center for a long time or castle kingside himself. So bishop D3, slightly unusual, H3, H6, and Nihal, the first one, thinking about what's going on because both sides are playing not the main line, and they want to just. Magnus does that a lot. He just wants to play chess. Doesn't want to test his opponent's memory.
And there we see a choice from Nihal as he does go for a very flexible pawn structure. He could have pushed that pawn 1 square forward to attack the knight, but that's a different game entirely. Now we have something different, and as you mentioned, the choice is all whites. You can just castle your king, get it to safety. You can also develop your bishop and just keep your opponent guessing that little while longer.
क्रंची रोल्स पे क्या एनिमे आता है ना?
Another pawn move, and not this one. Here, Magnus is indicating that he wants to
क्योंकि बहुत देख रहा हूँ मैं क्रंची रोल्स, एनिमे उसमें भी था, कॉमिकॉन में।
Yeah, a positional way of playing for Magnus, H3 and A4, stopping black from doing anything. And black plays B6, putting all of his pawns on the 3rd rank. So-called hedgehog way of playing. Black wants to fiend counter
these nades for that aim,
and eventually put his other bishop on E7. So it seems like both sides are going for kingside castling this game. Magnus plays an aggressive move that you don't always see with A4, and that's F4. Magnus pushing his kingside pawns, controlling the center. White has more space. Black is very solid. Magnus has this slight time advantage, trying to get his opponent out of preparation, which I think he did. Now the players have to play their own moves. You know, one thing I was complaining about earlier today, Yovi, because I like to complain. I'm a grandmaster. Complain as much as possible. I was like, how come there's no open Sicilians in this tournament? All we see are Catalans. Then today we see G3, Bishop G2, and finally, my complaining has come to fruition. We have an open Sicilian Najdorf. It's going to be really exciting, and the repetitions, the stalemates, and the draws are going to be off the table. We're going to see exciting chess today.
Exactly. And one of the things that is a bit ironic about the structure for black is that it has a kind of name of the hedgehog, right? And the whole idea is that, yes, it looks innocuous, all of black's pawns lined up there, not too far from home. However, if you try to go for it, then the spikes come out and you have to be careful.
मेरे दोस्त का डीएम आया अभी, कह रहा तेरे को पता है स्नैक्स ने सिर्फ वॉच पार्टी से 1,36,000 सब्सक्राइबर आए हैं, जो भी इसने 6-7 वॉच पार्टी कर.
Big question to Magnus, what is he going to do? He comes forward with the queen, and now I'm expecting white to get cast.
नाइस ऑब्जर्वेशन, हमें तो पता ही नहीं था.
Then just
अरे भाई पता चल जाता है.
all of the pieces and then just keep arguing to black, you don't have as much space as me.
Yeah, both sides are wondering about white playing E5. White played F4. Black defended the E5 square with knight BD7. Magnus played queen E2. He wants to play E5. Nihal says queen C7.
निहाल भाई ये राइट में क्या देख रहे हैं बीच
And
बीच?
he hopes that white can never play
फोकस
E5.
में फोकस
Black can
निहाल पे
develop
फोकस.
the castle and eventually equalize the game. So the question is Magnus going to go all out here and play G4 and long? No, he just plays short castle, plays very solid. White has a little bit more space. White's going for a small advantage, not the monster attack that we sometimes see in the Sicilian. White has more space in the center, and typically White's king goes to the side of the board, H1 for example, getting off of the diagonal with the knight, and the other rook will go to E1, and White will start attacking in the center of the king side. Very double-edged position. I'm sure both players are happy right now.
Yeah, and now the big question is, are we going to be seeing the move that you pounded the
पर एक हाँ ये कमेंट्स में सही कह रहा है बे. निहाल की आईज देखना, ग्रेविटी कितनी जल्दी जल्दी ब्लिंक कर रहा है. निहाल की आईज, ये जो कमेंट है ना, ये देखो, मैग्नेस 100 ब्लिंक्स पर सेकंड 70. इनकी आई ब्लिंक देखो कितनी जल्दी कर रहे हैं ये.
Any space, I'm gonna make you suffer.
No knight C5 for black, taking away the C5 square. The bishop on D2.
मतलब मैग्नेस अगर एक बार ब्लिंक कर रहा है ना, लगातार कर रहा है, देख रहे हो?
And yeah, Magnus just says I
तो
want
फुल
space all
स्क्रीन
over
करता
the
हूँ,
board.
देखो.
No space
अगर
for you.
कर रहा है ना तो लगातार ब्लिंक कर रहा है, 3-4 बार कर रहा है, मतलब एक ही साथ में. देखो पूरी स्पीड रन कर रहा है. बीजीएमआई का छाया पबजी मोबाइल बलाल. एरेंगल है ना अगला मैच भी, डिस्क्रिप्शन देखना पड़ेगा.
Options open. You can lift up your rook. You can also do what Ben was advocating for. Pick up.
Yovi, you're predicting all the moves. B4, King H1. We gotta get you down there. We'll get Magnus up here to do the commentary. We'll have Yovi versus Nihal.
Well,
87% Yovi.
There's an expression where we say the commentator, the spectator sees absolutely everything, because this game doesn't carry that much emotion for us at least, but for the player, there's so much tension and suspense. So the bishop tucks itself back, and now this is the question. What is white going to play? I remember when I was playing this type of stuff as a kid, I was lifting up my rook because I really like these rook lifts, and then starting moving them over to
एक और एरेंगल होगा चौथा मैप, फिर मेरा
Magnus
मैप.
a lot more sophisticated than 12-year-old me.
Yeah, he wants to put the queen on H4 and then push the king side pawns. Maybe he'll play rook to G3, do a rook lift after moving his queen to H4, so he has more pieces pointing towards the black king. The question is black going to break out at some point with B5 or D5 or E5? Or is Nihal content to keep the solid position and wait for Magnus to do something to change the nature of the game? And again, I said this before, when these are slow games, classical chess time controls, we have slow maneuvering. You can't really do that in rapid chess, 10 minutes. You got to make quick decisions and hope that you're not blundering, and hope when you change the position, it's for the better.
The problem is Nihal really can't just sit there waiting, because I'm seeing the skeleton of an attack against the black king, right? So I'm thinking if the queen just lifts herself up 2 squares, if the rook comes up and all the pieces start to just start looking at the Black King,
ब्रो
you could see
कंफ्यूजन
trouble on the
और निहाल
horizon.
भाई थोड़ा सा
Okay,
रिलैक्स
so the
करो,
Rook
कोई
just
बात नहीं.
waits. And what will Magnus do is the timeout. Another idea I wanted to say is you can just also start to break open the diagonals and even maybe do a piece sacrifice here and there. These are not my pieces.
Easy to sacrifice somebody else's pieces. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, it could very well happen, right? So I'm just thinking you can lift up the F pawn. But first up, I like this whole plan of moving with the queen. And this is exactly what Magnus has done. I was actually advocating for one square further, but not approved by the engine.
No, I agree with you, Yovi. I like queen h4 better, so the white rook has the g3 square. Seems like white's rooks aren't really participating in the attack after queen g3. And I'm wondering, I mean, I could see the move being inaccurate, but a question mark. Man, this computer overlords are really mean today.
It is a bit mean because it's not entirely, okay, hang on a second, you'll get the wish and you'll do it with some extra time. Okay, now, big question, given a question mark, and I think that's because it just allows white the time to lift up a rook, get the rooks involved into the game. Everyone wants to party on that side of
Yeah, Nihal just lost the tempo there. So this worked out well for Magnus. He got queen h4 in and he gets to move again. The engine doesn't like this knight f6 move, moving back and forth, giving Magnus extra time.
I gotta say, Magnus playing with a 93.9 accuracy. In my books, them's good. And heart rates, very standard, I would say, for both of them. Around the 80 mark, which in my eyes, pre-Argent era Geisy was relatively calm.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're hoping for a rook lift. Rook to e3 or f3, rook g3, start some attack on the king side. Magnus does start attacking. Very double-edged move. He gives away the e5 square, so black can play knight e5, but the e6 pawn is hanging. So now we can get some sacrifices in.
Exactly. Let's see whether they work, in fact, because there's a big question here. Can you go all in to the attack? And I'm looking over at Ben and I say, let's just show it. Like if black plays the most natural move, which is to lock up the center, the big thing is don't go back with a knight, go forward.
Yay, 96, attack.
And you can see the evaluation bar giving it a stamp of approval. It's saying this is the way forward. Oh, we're going to see it. We're going to see it, Ben. It's happening on our screens.
Yay, the analysis board and the regular board are the same. Magnus sacrifices a piece. The engine says black should play g5. That seems like a crazy move, but the knight doesn't really have any good squares. Knight b8 isn't something you want to do. And instead he gives his knight back immediately. Let's see what he does. Let's get rid of the analysis board, go back.
And there we're seeing that after giving back the piece, I can understand there were just too many pieces around the black king. So now the queen gets out of trouble, gets out of the eye line of the bishop, drops back, and now big threat on the board. This bishop on d2, this dark square bishop is pointing at the black king. The black king needs to step away from trouble. And if that doesn't work, oh dear, problems.
Yes, Magnus is going to have a monster attack. Magnus has a big time advantage already. Nihal's getting short on time with less than 3 minutes left. Magnus still has more than 5. Magnus has the half-open G line, the half-open F line to attack. The knight can go to D5, getting some more pieces into the attack. And black doesn't really have any counterplay against the queen side there, Yovi. So it's one-way traffic for this game.
Yeah, I'm going to say, actually, Nihal's in huge, huge trouble. I mean, the evaluation bar telling us this is the most natural move. And look, a beautiful, beautiful move there from Magnus. The whole point is you don't care about material. What you want to be doing is just opening up the diagonals, and the light squared bishop is going to be such a dangerous piece. I would even go rook takes pawn.
Sacrifice the rook.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't care throwing away material because checkmate ends the game.
That's right. Those white squares are more important than a measly exchange.
Exactly. And if you get that bishop and the queen lined up on this beautiful light squares, it's going to be game over for black. Look at the black monarch. It's all by itself. And let's just
Oh, he takes with the bishop. No.
Okay.
Come on, Magnus. You could have taken with the rook.
And this is what we were advocating.
Yeah, we wanted this to happen. Then Magnus could play queen g6 and play for mate, get those white squares.
Yeah.
Magnus is like, I just want to be a pawn up. Give me a break. White's a pawn up. Black doesn't really have any compensation. White still has an attack against Black's king, but probably more incisive was to sack the exchange. Always sack the exchange. One of my rules.
Not our pieces. So I can understand why Magnus is like, you know what, I don't need to do this. I don't need to go all into the attack. When this position is so nice and so good, and you've seen he's a comfortable pawn up, why take the risk? Very pragmatic decision there from Magnus. Now, the big question is how to improve the pieces in order to get them to that finish line. The rook comes in, so big idea. Bishop is going to slam down.
You keep playing bishop takes h6, Yovi, in every position. You're attacking.
That's my commentator style. I just want to be giving up the pieces. But there's a point that there's going to be a ladder checkmate on the board. And if the black king is left without any protection, so this is why the rook steps forward. The rook wants to do some nifty defensive footwork on the line. And now here, what to do? You can just simply start improving your pieces. I perhaps would be tempted to improve my bishop or maybe advance a pawn. But we'll see which way Magnus goes.
Magnus with a big time advantage, a winning position on the board, extra pawn. He's got the rook on e6. Nihal's very passive. So far, this game is one-way traffic, just Magnus having as much fun as he can. And he's just figuring out, I like this move, I like this move, I like this move. He's trying to figure out which gives him the biggest advantage.
Exactly. I mean, he can even dive up with the queen and start attacking the rook. Magnus is not looking 100% happy, but that's only because he's just looking for the cleanest way to finish off the board. But it has worked out to perfection. He chose an open Sicilian. He took the risk, played perfectly, and Nihal already staring down the barrel of defeats. What is Magnus? He goes in with the queen. The bishop drops back, Black groveling, just desperately trying to hold the position together. And the move that I was asking for in a different position, but I think is also quite relevant here, is you can start improving the left side of the board. Okay, this one is also good enough. Magnus just showing us good technique.
Yeah, we like to say in the US during commentary, White has the extra pawn and the compensation. So White's better on the board, and White has an extra pawn. Black is very passive. Magnus can do whatever he wants, and Magnus has an extra minute on the clock. Time situation, not good for Nihal. He has a minute 22 left. He finally goes on the counter.
Nihal bhai, let's go.
D5 pawn. Magnus centralizes his queen.
Hoga, confidence.
Everything. Very difficult for Black to attack anything. And in the long run, Nihal's just in a lot of trouble, but he's going to keep defending and hope that Magnus gets low on time. Maybe Magnus will make a mistake.
Exactly, and Nihal fighting hard now, you know, hoping to have some kind of pressure against White's queenside pawns, but in comes the queen, now comes the rook. Where is Her Majesty gonna go? Less than a minute now for Nihal, dives in. I mean, and this is just really floundering here. There isn't any threat, even with that active queen. Not much that Nihal can do. I'm expecting the rook to drop back one square and set up what is going to be a terminal pin.
Yeah, terrible position for Nihal. All his pieces are pinned. Bishop's pinned, the rook's pinned. Magnus is trying to find the cleanest way to win. The bishop can't go to b4 right now because of queen f4 check. Nihal trying to unpin his rook by trading queens.
Okay, and now we're seeing a trade of rooks. I was actually expecting a trade of queens, so that one took me by surprise. But here, this one is also beautiful. No risk whatsoever for Magnus as he starts to slowly improve his position. There's some kind of, maybe some tricky ideas with some h5 ideas for Black, but here Magnus starts improving. And look at
Magnus
that,
wants to play
bind.
h5 first.
It is just fixing the pawns on his color complex.
Right, if he gets to play h5, that keeps the
Okay,
black pawn on g7 stuck
bye-bye.
on a black square. Okay, now Magnus has to make a decision whether to trade queens or repeat. Trades queens, plays h5.
Yeah, And
Nihal has to play G6 to stop the king from going to F5, but then the H6 pawn is hanging.
exactly.
So Magnus has the extra pawn and the better king.
And everything is just working perfectly in stages. First, Magnus has maximized his king. Now he's going to be maximizing his bishop. And he's just working out. Look at this. Not a single square for Nihal's bishop. And the position has got to give. We're now in a pure king and pawn endgame. And Magnus starts running to assist his extra pawn. And he wins. What a game.
Pretty
So
effortless
clean.
for Magnus. Yeah, pretty clean.
Super smooth.
Yeah,
Wow.
nice win for Magnus. He sacrificed a piece, got it back right away, had the extra pawn, and just won the game with the extra pawn the rest of the way. Not really any difficulties for Magnus. Magnus had more time also, and just very, very clean technique from Magnus. Nihal has to go back to the drawing board. Again, I didn't think there'd be a lot of draws this match. It's sort of a one-sided match. Magnus just playing out of his mind good. Nihal has to play better next game and get more active play with the white pieces.
Yeah, definitely he's going to have to go back to the drawing board, and this is why you see him just doing a quick game review where he's going to check for some possible improvements that wasn't the best.
चीचा क्या कर रहे हैं चीचा
मेहनत का एक छोटे अब तो पहला राउंड है हाँ पीछे तो देख लाला चलो ये गेम पे ध्यान देते तो डिले हो रहा है इसके लिए मैं गाने गा रहा हूँ करना पड़ता
그 품질이 아주 좋고 최고급이라고 해서 저희가 한번 먹으러 와봤습니다.
मेरे को सबसे ज्यादा मजा क्या आ रहा मालूम ऐसा 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 चलो चालू रहा
Watch here as we await. If we may have a fourth, a fifth, or maybe even more teams, perhaps everybody is going to Pachinki. It's going to be a 64-player brawl in the center of the map.
You know what? I'm in. I want to see that action. That would be absolutely insane. I mean, if it was going to be possible, now would be the time because it's the last one of the day. But you know what? It's time to see what exactly is going to happen as we get into the map. Final Erangel of day one of the finals. Now let's see who's going to be able to put some serious points on the board before we get into the sandy deserts of Miramar.
I mean, I'll take non-serious points at this stage. Of course, every single team would as well. Plane path on the west side of the mainland here, coming through from North George to the west point of Sosnovka military base, and it will be going fairly close to Pachinki, so we're not going to be denied it by the plane path. HORAA out early over towards Severny, TIANBA over into North George. I'm keeping an eye out to see if any of our teams on the hot drop are going somewhere else, but I'm really not holding my breath.
I kind of am here. Oh. You know what? I will say, yeah, you can see already. Look at that. Looks like we're going to see another hot drop in Pachinki as Ida and NIGMA Galaxy are headed in that direction.
Uh-oh.
Very, very interesting. I will say, though, we got to give massive props to NIGMA Galaxy for being so high up on the leaderboards, considering that they've been dealing with this all day long here. I mean, they're in fourth place, 30 points. That's pretty insane.
Sure, I mean, they were able to take a chicken dinner towards the start of the day, right? So they do have a little bit of a foundation to try and do this with, but they could be so much further ahead without this situation. It looks like we're not going to see a fourth Thrives flex out. Instead, S2G are the closest by on the southwest side. NONGSHIM REDFORCE, who have yet to touch the floor of their parachute, could potentially also flex in from the southeast side, but I feel like S2G are the most likely right now to cause problems for Ida. NIGMA Galaxy on the north side of Pachinki, they're split right now, but you can see Rita on that off angle could be quite important. Ralph seems like they know he's in this building, but the nade won't connect.
Yeah, that was a warning nade for sure. You can see Satan up on the roof here, or on this ledge, trying to get a little bit of information. He knows exactly where Rita is. It's a big stalemate, though. This is the hard part about these hot drops, and I can hear it. That loot truck is now driving on by. the precious loot. Satan's like, that should have been ours. I want it. No. Oh, Lord gets knocked. And did he get thirsted? No, he actually gets beat up pretty bad. Satan, through the door. What a clutch knock for this team.
Able to take out the off angle there, and Ida are going to really struggle to get back to this one. It's across the road, and I don't think you can break past that. The res, though, in the meantime, is going to be there, and because it's so early in the game, it's so much less likely that you've got the nades on side to just completely suppress that res position, which allows NIGMA Galaxy to go back to 4 and leaves Ida stranded on 3. Rita getting knocked there is the most crucial part of that fight, Jukes.
Man, that was an insane shot there from Satan. I mean, that's that game sense, guys. Shooting right through the door. He knew he was there, and he makes the play for his team. It's one of those micro plays, right? That when you make that kind of play, it just changes the entire situation for your squad. And now, because of that, NIGMA Galaxy up ahead against Ida.
They still have to get a little bit more pace to it, though.
भाई, ये तो
And Ida
गुस्से
are
में हुआ है।
retreating now right to the southeast point of Pachinki. They've read that immediately Satan can move out, get this position on the off angle that they were previously in control of. The fact that they're aware of that is good, but you're just going to keep losing players. At this stage, I feel like NIGMA Galaxy definitely have had a better result so far in this Pachinki hot drop. They were very ready for it. As you said, they will have known, they will have been aware that this is unfurled.
Yeah, and what are you going to do if you're Ida at this point? I mean, look where they're at on the leaderboards. I mean, this is crazy. 16th place, only 2 points so far. If I'm their coach, anybody that is in the leadership of this team, I'm like, give it up, guys. We lost. I mean, I get it, right? Day one, you're going to battle it out with NIGMA Galaxy to see if you can conquer this location, but it's an L. Like, you got to at some point realize that this is not going to work for us. If we want to be able to do well in this tournament, I mean, Erangel is the majority of the maps we're going to be playing here. We cannot afford to continue doing this.
It is pretty devastating. They have only lost 1 player this time around, but the loot is going to be fairly thin on the ground. The vehicle condition, like, I don't know, man. It's really cutting the legs out from underneath themselves.
It's terrible. I mean, you're down a player, you don't get the loot truck, you don't get any, you're under looted at this point. I mean, it's just a loss overall, and where they stand on the leaderboards is a pure reflection of that. So, yeah, you know, I always say that when it comes to these kind of hot drops or these situations in general, I really do think these need to be settled in rehearsals, you know, in the pre-matches, where it's like, hey, you know what, guys? Have a little handshake agreement. We're going to drop in Pachinki this game. Whoever wins it gets it, you know? Fair enough.
Yeah, well, I don't think that would ever happen, but yeah, I mean, I kind of understand. It is a question, right, that is rooted in a lot more, I think, subjective opinion for a lot of people. Sure. Because you have that question of, if we give up our drop spot, are we just going to be easily pushed around in the future, right? Like, are you trying to do that sort of thing? I mean, it's like negotiating contracts, negotiating business there. It's a strategy is to just be like, okay, we'll go somewhere else. We'll go somewhere else. But you can hold your nerve, and if you guys want to be the best, then you guys need to hold your nerve, and you can look good doing it using the Naruto skins here. Make sure you're heading into game, get that character set, get that Ninetales Fury AUG skin. Get that one developing as well, because you can get some variations on that bad boy.
Yeah, you want to be maxing that bad boy out and looking real good. As you know, TIANBA's been looking really good today. They're in 4th place, 31 points. Milu, man, the way he started off that Rondo match was just wild. I mean, this man has been performing all tournament long for his squad. He had, for sure, right, the play of the tournament. That 1v4 earlier in the group stage was so sick. Yeah. And then come finals time, the way that he started out, they are looking really good.
Absolutely. They are currently in 4th place right now. Looking to try and keep themselves within striking distance of that 1st place spot. Godlike would love to try and join them, but they are a little bit more destitute on that points front, with only 8 towards the bottom of those tables. Another circle heading up towards the north side, split by that central river. A lot of open ground south of Severny, being covered actually mostly by AURORA, who have a wide spread around the river, are causing a lot of problems. I'm Interested to see how many teams look to head east of Yasnaya. FURIA likely going to do so. Could potentially see that from teams who are still on the military island, by the way, AURORA and ALULA. And maybe we'll see it from one of the two teams who are still in Pochinki too, because, well, it looks like either looking to push back in and re-engage. NIGMA Galaxy have been working the ground in the meantime, snaffling up all that loot and checking every corner. Or at least I hope they are.
Yeah, they better be, that's for sure. I mean, you can definitely tell they're keeping their head on a swivel here. They got to know that Ida's around here somewhere. They're just clearing building by building with Satan on the other side, rocking a 3-1 split. Got to be careful, though. One nade could be dangerous. Oh, the shots ring on out, and the knock on the Coops is huge.
He's got another nade as well. Coops is in danger here. Ralph does need to get some healing done before he can go for that revive, but he should be okay to do it. You can't step forwards and go for the cross. And again, Satan is on that off angle. Just about misses Swain on the cross, but he should be able to call that one out. Should have spotted it. Lord is already cooking a nade. He knows he's in the building now. Launches it forwards, and he takes it down.
Oh, nade.
Communication.
W
Plays from NIGMA Galaxy in Pochinki are just insane. How do they do these wild bounce back shots, nades, that just turn the fight in their direction? This just goes to show you, when you know this side of the map like the back of your hand, it's gonna pay dividends.
In the meantime, NONGSHIM REDFORCE and 4thRives are going head to head. And at the moment, it looks like 4thRives are in the driver's seat. This is out to the east side of Potato Hill, but they are grabbing a couple of flushes on board as well. As we keep going with this hot drop though. Yeah, NONGSHIM REDFORCE, they're going to try and get out, just leave a solo survivor coming on through. And another knock goes on in. This is NIGMA Galaxy sweeping it under the rug. They're putting this hot drop to bed. It cannot come back tomorrow. It would be a terrible idea.
I can't stress how difficult this is to do, right? To be able to deal with this hot drop so frequently and to just execute in this perfect fashion. I mean, not losing a single player, getting those four points early on is just insane.
There was a hard north shift on the circle in the meantime. We are watching all of this hot drop unfold, but it is pushing teams now north very, very quickly, which is causing conflict around the crossings as Coops finds the final player on Ida. And down they go. All 4 players from NIGMA Galaxy are there, and no third party came on through as well. Now we're going to jump over towards the teams that are looking to put pressure on up towards the north side. We talked a little bit about NONGSHIM REDFORCE losing 3 of their players. 4thRives lost 1, but they did manage to get the 3 points for that fight. They are both still south of the river. Ulf, Orangutan now on this northern side of Rozhok River, and trying to get their foothold to move in towards those shooting range hills, potentially over towards Severny Way.
Yeah, we've been really focused on that Pochinki fight for so long. This zone is all the way up to the north, like you mentioned. We already got FURIA up there in Severny, EARENA over by shooting range right now, taking that Snake Hill position. And now we're gonna see a lot of these teams start make that rotation. AURORA Gaming, oh, the one rock! You gotta hit it for good luck.
That's a map open right there. Guaranteed. 100% looking at
Yeah.
No ways.
I think we're gonna go here, guys.
Oh, he's gonna go again? Oh, no. Oh, okay, we're getting a little replay. This is on the 4thRives and NONGSHIM REDFORCE fight. They'd already lost T24, but the hold from Hazaifa, the angles that he was able to clock, it seems, pretty efficacious on the high ground there. Love to see it for 4thRives. AURORA on their crossing, run into Vitality. Looks like they may have run their last across these bridges. This western hold looking quite good for Vitality, who, for the time being, have been a little bit quieter, I think it's safe to say, than their group stage performances, but they're still very much there. They're still very much present. Well, certainly their presence is being felt by AURORA on this northwest side.
Vitality. Oh, southern shift here, and a big southern shift. This actually might be really good for the side of NIGMA Galaxy, as they're going to be mushing in super late here. And are you kidding me? If this zone actually south shifts one more time to Roz, that would be devastating for this lobby. AURORA, I'm trying to figure out, what do you think they're doing here, right? They're over there by North George, splitting up, maybe trying to find some late loot.
Well, I mean, they were being held out by Vitality, right? So
you're right.
They're just trying to take a turn around the town to maybe allow Vitality to disengage and then maybe re-engage later on, see what they can do with a little bit less pressure from the river crossing on that front. Team Flash over on the east side needed to settle their score with ALULA to try and get towards the circle.
Nice.
And it is not looking pretty for ALULA.
अरे फोड़ दो बाजी पूरा.
Not a good start, but yeah, it would be kind of mental to send all the way down to Rostock. It'd be great for NIGMA Galaxy, right? They're still just on the north side of Pachinki, so they could just take up that mountain and lickety split, get themselves another chicken dinner. Godlike.
Oh, nice Manya.
On the hunt in the middle.
Manya ने HORAA का निपटा दिया.
To AURORA, and it seems that they are going to be able to take at least one and get the flush for Godlike.
Mormon, the nade looks good.
अरे भाई HORAA का बिल्कुल.
Mormon, pow, pow, pow. That's 12K getting the finish. And look at that. I mean, teammate instantly there with the vehicle to make sure that they can get him over to safety. So AURORA going to have to go out pretty early here in this game. Only one single player up. See what he can do later on. Nice. But now we're up at the gas station with a FURIA. Keeping their eyes onto Team Flash. Win has the P90 and the ghillie suit. So he definitely won that crate drop. He came out absolutely stacked to the teeth and hits the tree for good luck. That is a necessary thing to do here, folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bold
just
strategy.
Little tap on the tree. You know,
tap, tap, tap.
Little shout out to Mother Nature there for saying hi. And then...
Gotta make sure it's secure.
Yeah, and then proceeding to unleash lead into the hillsides around him. Hopefully. With that P90. Team Flash getting out of dodge from this east side could be tricky. S2G managed to make their way to one of the buildings here that is this lineup from S2G, from Orangutan, from TIANBA, and from Ulf. On this lineup, very central on the circle. Some very defensible positions, but teams will start to crowd in around them. Vitality and AURORA. This is the re-engage, Dukes.
Here they go. They're battling it again. And it looks like AURORA are on top so far with that knock on a Razak. Here you can see Zol driving around trying to get some information. Federalis up close and personal, having to run back. Oh, it's Godlike on the other side. Yeah, that's too dangerous. Vitality need to disengage this as their 6 is not covered. But Razy is driving up close and personal, giving an opportunity for Reefus to put some shots onto him.
Crazy.
And yeah, it's just down to these 2 players left for AURORA. This fight would have definitely went off earlier, but that third party from Godlike bought AURORA Gaming some time.
A little bit, but now they're down to 2. And Vitality.
Bro भी like भागो, नेड फट गया मुंह पे.
In the meantime, trying to find their way in on the north side, but it's not looking super accessible right now. And now seems like they're engaged with the final player from HORAA. Sleepy is holding it, but in the meantime, a crash. S2G trying to roll across, but TIANBA holding face against it, and they are not going to let S2G in without a fight. AURORA wants to jump in and join the party here. That could be brutal there, right under his feet. Is it going to blast him down? But there's an answer, and Reefus falls. A third knock over towards TIANBA, but now everybody has been isolated and evacuated from this fight. Nobody's left to put the pressure on this triple knock.
Are you kidding me? It looked like these guys were fighting in a lake of fire here. QZ in the center of it. And Top could have been there to make that play, but unfortunately, there are too many teams surrounding him, and it stopped that crucial third party.
Oh, another nade from Top. Doesn't quite connect there. There is an answering nade, and that is going to back Top off nicely. The run around there. Orangutan maybe missing a beat there, maybe missing a trick. Not able to flex out. Didn't quite have the angles on it.
Top!
Oh, Top just about
क्या
behind
बचा
the
है वो?
concrete there to keep him safe from catch, but they know exactly where he is. He's got 2 smokes. He is slap bang in the middle of the circle though, Jukes, and that might be a little bit of a help until another team rocks up with nowhere to go. They're going to roll right on top of this guy.
Yeah, Top's cooked right now. He's just like, I think I'm just going to lay down right here.
He's on the simmer.
For as long as I possibly can. No standing up for me. It's straight hit the deck time on the side of Top. But hey, you know what? That's good, right? He's got a good position in zone. They're pretty high up on the leaderboard, so they can just kind of hang on and get some placement points. That'll be good for him. But meanwhile, I mean, TIANBA on a tear. 7 eliminations. Fortunate for them. They're able to get everybody back up here. And they're in a solid position in this circle as we now look on over to FURIA. Igor hopping out the vehicle here, getting punished by EARENA for it.
Oh, it's not going well. It is not going well for FURIA. Unfortunate, they're just going to be down to Chief, the other 2 players down on the hillside. TIANBA, by the way, managed to fend off a triple team crash on their compound, right? They're now on 7 eliminations. They have done phenomenal stuff. It's likely they're going to have to fend off at least 1 more, but the number of crates around them is going to be ludicrous. Gonna have to try and figure out exactly what they want to put in their backpacks as Flash try to find their way through, thread the needle, but EARENA are just gonna roll it down. Mormon over the top, doesn't even need to ring the doorbell to open that door. And Tops has to turn tail. TiANBA sees to it. He's going to get backed off by a third party. I think that might be Orangutan chiming in. And now Tops has to head towards 4th Thrive, so nowhere real to go for him. As Hyunbin finally bites the dust, the last player alive for NONGSHIM REDFORCE.
NONGSHIM bhi gayi, let's
EARENA are putting
go.
some good points on the board here. I mean, they're having to really battle it out.
OG border थोड़ा से point लेने पड़ेंगे guys.
In this zone. And now you're going to see 4 Thrives. 6 eliminations so far. Falak with 2, Zypha with 3.
It's keeping Rozog in.
Oh my, I just saw that circle shift. Are you kidding me? NIGMA Galaxy, they'll take that all day long, right? Hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to get a little reward for those crazy hot drop efforts, and they'll definitely take that one to the bank.
Yeah, that's going to be friendly for them for the time being. For them, I feel like a good strategy is to start scouting the other side of the river now, though. I feel like you need to get someone in fast. The difficulty, of course, is that 4 Thrives, and now Vitality is starting to move in, and they don't have an outpost there. Move over to the bridge, a little bit out of the zone.
Yeah.
I feel like somehow you've got to find a coastal position on that riverbank. And if you hold towards the warehouse, towards the triple stack, it's just going to be a bleed out for NIGMA Galaxy. The placements aren't really going to be enough. Yeah, I want a little bit more forward thinking there as AURORA lose their final player Top. Could not stay
40
in too
ka
much
gaya.
longer. 4 Thrives though, getting crashed on.
Here they go. EARENA not messing around here, just full sending it, non-stop aggression from this team. And it's been paying off so far, and that's why you can see them on top. Mormon hopping on out, trying to hit that flick shot onto Zypha. Zypha's really hurt here. Great teamwork though from EARENA, picking apart the likes of 4 Thrives.
Zypha
अभी भी
has
8 पे
been
निकली है
so
4 Thrives.
difficult to deal with, but EARENA the only team to be
दिक्कत
able
होने
to
वाली
take
है
him
भाई,
down.
बहुत
And
बड़ी
it
दिक्कत
took
होने
at
वाली है.
least 3 of them. TiANBA goes down with them, but 10 eliminations now for EARENA. Very possible to get this res. This is the chance though for NIGMA Galaxy to move across, and look at Ralph. He's getting over. Coops is looking to join him. This is the perfect opportunity whilst these teams on the east are preoccupied. A little bit slow to get the third party, but it is a good first step. I like what they've been able to do there. We've seen counterpointed river cross positions in 2-2 splits work well in the past. I'm hoping they can leverage that here. I'm a little bit disappointed in Orangutan on the north side. I feel like they could have poked their noses into that fight and third party did as well. Moved a little bit further out to the east, been fairly safe from TIANBA and gotten stuck in there, but they hold inside. And I don't think it was going to be enough.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed here in the EWC is the quickness these teams are ready to third party and take those opportunities. And it's just kind of surprising to see OG just kind of hold back there for a second. NIGMA Galaxy, just due to the terrain, weren't able to even think about getting that third party. But because of that fight, it opened the door for them to be able to at least make that safe rotation and get that 2-2 split going that you were talking about. So let's see how they're able to capitalize onto it, though. As now is the calm before the storm. We are in stage number 5. All these teams just planning it out, trying to figure out, okay, if the zone goes over here, we're going to have to make these plays. If the zone stays on us, then GG, baby. We just shoot at everything in sight.
Yeah, we're going to get the next zone unveiling itself in the next 20
ये
seconds
smoke करके
or
क्यों
so.
बैठे हैं?
Godlike try and keep their ridgeline in play. This is a replay of the roll-up. Okay, this is when EARENA crashed on towards 4 Thrives. Falak. Yeah, went down very quickly there to Joker. Not much you can do about that. When the flying vehicle launches over the top, the bunny rabbits bound on into your sight line.
Guys chat करो भाई से बात करो.
Circle though comes in Jukes, and it will head over to the west.
मेन वाली स्ट्रीम पे भी देख रहे हो, शॉर्ट वाली स्ट्रीम पे भी आ रहे हो, जा रहे हो यार, बात नहीं कर रहे हो.
Yeah, Godlike. Remember, as Power said, the domination starts now. Let's see if they can actually make that thing, though, as they got Ulf right behind them. They're super pinched, making it very difficult for them to make a play from their position. And now you can see Scarface getting up close and personal. As Power trying to smoke some things out, buy his teams some time. It's going to be up to him and Admino, though, as they are just trying to hold this spot. Unfortunately for them, though, it's outside of circle. Yeah, so now Ulf are in a perfect position to gate cardi this. Oh, nice shots though from Admino, but unfortunately those smokes are perfectly put, and he's not able to get the thirst.
The nade is up high, doesn't quite go the distance. It went completely out of his viewing angle there. If it had been just a little bit further, that could have been a straight knock there. S-Power gets across. Managed to get some healing started as well, but that blue zone pressure is coming through. We're looking at OG and EARENA, as well as NIGMA Galaxy, also having to make moves in the meantime, Dukes. And move in from this east edge. TIANBA are gonna have to move. There is a lot of teams that have to make some difficult decisions now.
अरे गॉडल है ऐसे ओजी हेलो बीच में से
Straight on forwards, try and get dead center here and contest with NIGMA Galaxy on the coastline.
आतंकी जो बच्चा है ना भाई तू
They drop down, and 3 of them managed to get across, not unscathed, but alive.
Great IQ of a rotation. They knew that one little plateau was right there. They were able to head straight towards it. They get their safe. Coops in trouble. The closest nade, he's done. Oh, able to get the heal off, and now get some shots downrange. Headshot onto Mormon. Joker right there next to him, though. Can Coops get to safety? No, he gets knocked, and EARENA are going to continue to apply that pressure, getting that thirst immediately there onto Coops. At NIGMA Galaxy just getting picked apart. That 2-2 split not working out.
That was insane for Coops to be able to.
अरे डैमेज अच्छा लास्ट ऑलमोस्ट लास्ट जोन है इसलिए
and are leaving NIGMA Galaxy on 3. Orangutan lost players on the center as well. They are now down to just 2 as EARENA make the same mad dash. The mad crash against TIANBA will not work out for them, and EARENA
भाई क्रेजी भाई ये क्या खेलते हैं भाई ये
टीम्स and they end up feeding the beast that is TIANBA. They did put some good points on the board for them, and I love to see that aggression. Let's see if TIANBA, though, can put even some more points and get this chicken dinner. They already have 10 eliminations. They're looking pretty unstoppable. S-Power forced to hit the deck. Oh, now with those sight lines just punishing them. I mean, they have this position locked down.
You needed Admino to be on an angle there to suppress Ulf, but no, not quite there, not quite ready. Didn't have the presence, and it's a difficult spot on the north side, so I can't really blame them too much there. Now the transition to the rest of the circle. A knock over towards TIANBA, and the final flush onto Godlike as well. Another nade over towards TIANBA. They're getting caught in the crunches. NIGMA Galaxy move up the hill. They're challenging Orangutan. They're challenging TIANBA. They're doing a lot on this eastern side.
और दोनों गए
strike at the opportune moment.
आरू भी गया क्या
NIGMA Galaxy, they understand the situation. Hey, we got to push up. We can't just sit back and relax, wait for them to come to us. And you can see Lord with those nades applying the
आरू लेटा वो
pressure. I
उधर
think they need to slow things down a little bit, though. The circle is coming. The circle will push these teams out. So you want to make sure you hold on to all of that utility up until that last and final second. And I think they realize that. That's why they're starting to hold on to those nades. But the shots ringing out. Eagle getting a nice knock on Aaron. That's their biggest threat right now.
Catch, though, with the response over to QZZ. And it leaves Eagle alone. Dropping that smoke, the zone starts closing in 15 seconds, so this res needs to be now. It needs to come through as fast as possible to be able to be in a position to move out. Orangutan lose their final player. Gone. And it is going to go down to NIGMA Galaxy, who are now up on 7 elims. Their transition from across the river has gone so well for them.
What
a game from NIGMA Galaxy, getting hot dropped over and over and over. They take out Ida in just a beautiful fashion. And now, with this fortunate zone shift, are putting the punishment on this lobby as they take down Eagle from TIANBA.
Now QZZ will go down too, and TIANBA knocked out. They managed to get a whole host of points, though, 14 on the match. And they will keep themselves in the running for the podium. NIGMA Galaxy looking to join them. There's not enough room for both of you. You've got to organize it. Back to front, stand the line. But Vitality gonna have to leave as well from their cover on that south edge.
Does Solus not see Satan right there in that corner? He had to see him now. No, he's too focused downhill. Oh, never mind. It's gonna be Axel that catches him out. So it's all up to Vitality. Axel, the last player up. Is he able to survive?
Oh, Ralph gets knocked as well. Ulf are captaining from this compound for quite a while now. They haven't had to leave it. And when they do, it's against 2 duo teams with one of their players on either side knocked. For Ulf, this should be a clean sweep. There are no 2 ways about it, but it might get a little bit hairy. Lord is shut out first, and Aaron doesn't them even hit the deck. A 2v4 here would be needed for vitality, and they are getting cut across, sliced and diced. Ulf are on the hunt. Downhill, they roll on in, and it's just Razy to stand in their way. The smoke billows, the P90 at hand. You couldn't ask for a better setup, but Ulf are here, and they have the nades, the ordnance to blast them apart at the seams.
And that is how you do it,
ULF
Wolves.
जीत गया.
And Wolf just taking full opportunity there and capitalizing it on it. We love to be able to see that. That building so strong. It was in circle all the way up there towards the end, but they didn't just sit on their hands, right? They just saw, they hunted down every elimination they possibly could, and then once they realized that those teams were weak, they pushed out immediately and were able to get it done.
Some real heads-up plays, some proactive plays during that match. I mean, we focused a lot at the start on the hot drop, but the rotations up towards the north side also came in to be really impactful later on into that match, right? It was the teams that got there early that had the staying power. For me, a highlight of that game was also TIANBA holding off against the triple crash. It was ALULA, followed by S2G, followed by AURORA. Everybody wanted to get into that central compound, but they denied them access at every single turn. It was a shame that TIANBA couldn't go the full distance. They did get shut out. And I feel like for Orangutan, they could have had more of an impact on that northeast side that would have changed the tune there. And hopefully they can find those opportunities in the future. It would be great to see them perform at the level we know them to be capable of from their performance in the group stage. But it is looking pretty powerful on multiple fronts.
It's so tough. I mean, everybody here is playing just hyper aggression. Zero hesitation gameplay here live in Paris. The second you see an opportunity, these teams are taking it. One team in particular, right? We got to talk about it. Is EARENA. Just straight aggression there towards the end game. They soak up a ton of eliminations. Unfortunately, don't get the chicken dinner, but when you get that many elims, that's a good game no matter what.
Yeah, that fight with 4 Thrives over the ridgeline worked out well for them. And again, the lack of third party allowed them to keep in the match for a lot longer. They were down to just a single player standing at one point, but they managed to get back to 3 to recover that pressure without any third party look-ins coming on through. And yeah, for EARENA, it's a good result. I would even say it's a great result to keep them at the top of the tables, to keep, well, I don't know if they're actually at the top of the tables anymore. We'll have to double check that, but a man who could find out is Kalaris down on the stage with EARENA.
I'll try my best, John Allen. Yes, that's right. EARENA looking fantastic so far, so let's ask them a few questions about the games here to get things rolling. So first things first, your previous win going up against FURIA. Were you surprised by FURIA's approach to the late game? And talk to me about that late game in general after you go.
Guys 10 मिनट में आता हूँ, ठीक है? ब्रेक लेता हूँ, बहुत देर हो गया है। Almost 3 hours, more than 3 hours.
แปลกใจครับแต่ก็รู้ว่าเขาเล่นอย่างนั้นอยู่ครับก็เลยไม่ได้ตื่นเต้นเลยครับ
Well, we expected, but we still surprised with how they're approaching the teams. But even though the last result is that they're winning the games.
Okay, so you guys got very close to qualifying via the group stage and then came really close to not qualifying via the survival stage. So has there been any difference in approach here to the final? What has the team talked about to adjust here coming into the finals of PMWC?
ก็ขนาดที่2นะฮะในกรุ๊ปสเตจเราก็เกือบที่จะได้ควอลิฟายแล้วส่วนในรอบ Survival Stage เราก็เกือบที่จะตกรอบแล้วด้วยซ้ำในตอนนั้นอยากถามว่าในตอนนี้รู้สึกยังไงบ้างครับ
ก็พอเราเข้าไฟนอลมาได้ใช่ไหมครับก็ทุกอย่างก็เริ่มใหม่ครับทุกคนเริ่มจากศูนย์เราก็เริ่มจากศูนย์ก็เลยไม่กดดันอะไรครับ
Well, right now we have zero pressure at all. So we are here to win, of course. And it's since everyone, this is a new day, new group. So this is a champion group now. Everyone's starting at the 0 point, so that's no different. And we're gonna claim all the glory back to Thailand.
Okay, so that does it then. Well, thank you very much for the answers. That does it down here on the stage. We'll be with you for more from PMWC in just a moment.
Today, our players are taking on a brand new challenge, Drop Hunt. Each team will be split into 2 pairs, with each pair receiving their own map. 5 locations are marked on the map and hidden in the player lounge area. At each location is a mystery envelope. The mission is simple: find them, grab them, and bring them back. But there's a catch. There are only 5 envelopes, and each one is worth 20 points. The team that collects the most envelopes wins Drop Hunt. Ready, set, hunt.
Mana kita? Iya, so. Mana ya? Sini, Bang. Sini, Bang. Kita stiker di sini, Bujang. Kita di sini aja. Coba tengok mapnya lagi. Mereka mana tengok di daerah sini? Kayak mana cara dapat amplopnya, anjing? Tengok tahu cara ambil mereka. Sini kah? Mana si amplopnya? Pernah diambil harusnya. Lihat. Mana? Di sini. Viewing di situ, viewing. Viewing ini nggak sih? Kita orang aja gitu. Iya, serangin aja mereka, ayo. Woi, Rai. Pet. Sini, Pet. Kau mati juga kan jangan. Ini, Pet. Ambil, Pet. Lari, Pet. Lari, Pet. Jam. Oh, yang ini. Mana dia? Ini, Mas. Oh, tren dia. Ambil. Gini. We have 3, they have 2. We lost. Yeah. Nangis dulu, jangan nangis, Yang. Yeah, let's go.
Today is going by so quick. It feels like a final here at PMWC at EWC 26. And these players are currently putting up the numbers. By the way, for everybody currently watching home, don't forget about the PMWC Lucky Spin that is currently in the game. Log into PUBG Mobile and get those PMWC skins. They are co-created with PvP creator, none other than Nana. You guys want to check them out, make sure you do so. The Alien Fusion Grossa looks absolutely stunning. On top of that, the Electron Energy set and the Proton Power set. Maxman has all of them, if I'm not mistaken, and I personally just want the Grossa.
Yeah, I do have the Groza. Unfortunately, I don't use it much because I cannot control that recoil. So I just stick to the AUG because I'm basic like that, 7. But the AUG is cool.
I'm with you, honestly. I won't be able to control the recoil, but I just want to see it. I want to see it glow, even if I'm able to get at least 1 elimination. One team that was able to glow in this last match, being able to keep all their 4 players alive, none other than Ulf, Natura.
Oh, finally. You said it, right? We're finally getting a play where we actually have all of Ulf still around, still here to fight for the end game, to fight for that chicken dinner coming on through. Yeah, really nice to see. I mean, yes, they didn't have to contest it too much. They had 1 or 2 fights in the mid stage of the game, OG more notably, but then they were able to just hold their position, wait for the right time, and then once that time struck, Max, they were all over that final circle.
Yeah, I mean, really able to get himself some good presence at the end, keeping 4 players alive, which is my biggest issue with them since PMGO Season 1 in Jakarta this year. And you know what? They're able to finally get it done. I told you, they're a slow starting team. We're getting to the finals. We're finally starting to see these more dominant finishes from Ulf. But second place, NIGMA Galaxy. I got a segment later on, but you know what? It's good to see that once they do get out of the hot drop 7, they can actually put up big points.
They can put up those big points. Talking about big points here for some teams, it was none other than Godlike and OG. This was a match that they really needed lace because the middle of the pack teams were eliminated very early on. They needed to be able to catch up, but both teams were only able to catch 5 points apiece.
I mean, look, it's still a great improvement from them. And being so, they had like that kind of control in the middle of zone. So they were there for that early rotate. I would have liked to sort of see, I guess, OG apply a little bit more pressure to their eastern side. But still, to get to that point after the first couple of matches is a better thing for them. Obviously, we talk about slow starting teams, and they are one of them. But I do believe that coming into like the next match, we're probably going to see them a little bit more active. I mean, they need to be a little bit more active in that, but to get to that, I guess, spot that they have, it's a lot better than the previous match.
It is, and one team that was able to, that's also been starting off slow, but finally being able to wake up, Max, none other than 4thrives. 4thrives getting 8 eliminations this last match.
Good to see. Finally, good to see it, especially a lot of those eliminations actually secured on 2 teams that were interesting. You had Team Flash a little bit early on in that game too. That was fun to see how they won that little bit of an encounter. Huzaifa in particular, he carried that fight from start to finish. Really good numbers from Huzaifa. But they had a very good early rotation, and you could say a bad rotation for NONGSHIM REDFORCE, where they catch them off guard. They didn't expect to clash next to Potato Hill. And you know 4thrives, right, Nipchira? If they can take a fight and you are in a weakened state, they're going to chase you down until the edge of the earth, and that's what they did, and NONGSHIM REDFORCE took a massive L there. So 4thrives, if you know where they're going to rotate, I would try and avoid them because they don't like having neighbors around them.
No, they don't. And even in this state of where we're seeing them of just kind of indecision, I think they don't really know what's going on. But it is nice to see that, yeah, they're still a threat even in this state. And it's just been really difficult for me to actually watch 4thrives because I'm used to a very confident team that knows exactly what they're doing at all times. And I can tell that they're not sure what's wrong, why this isn't really happening. There's a little bit of the old spark there in this last game, but I think really it's just indecision. They're hesitating just too much.
Did you say like something about T24 going out a lot early recently? Like that's been a big issue, right?
Early. Yeah, and he's one of the big fraggers. He's really up and coming as a big fragger for the team. So for him to go out early, yes, Huzaifa is able to clutch, but you know, T24, they need a 4th player. They need somebody like him on that squad to just stay alive a little bit longer.
Yeah, T24 was able to start slow during groups as well. Then he was able to pick it up. But right here in the finals, you don't want to be starting slow. So that's one team we'll definitely be looking to see bounce back. One team that has been really consistent, especially with eliminations, we talked about it earlier, Lace, is none other than TIANBA. TIANBA just keeps putting up those eliminations in a big way.
They absolutely have, and I also want to add into that, like, keeping up those sort of eliminations. It's also EARENA. Like, we sort of like look at these 2 powerhouse squads, and we're gonna have to get a mashup with these 2 teams because they are making it in those top 5 positions. They are clearing their space. They're grabbing the eliminations along the way. Even in a fight where I think it was NIGMA Galaxy could have pushed EARENA a lot earlier in their position, but for whatever reason, I'm sure Max will cover it, they didn't sort of get into that contention, but EARENA just kept making power plays for the spot that they want. TIANBA is also making those power plays to get the position that they want. And obviously early eliminations, especially in today, is what will capitalize you for going into tomorrow. So this steady, I guess, excel in eliminations has been awesome from both of these squads.
Yeah, especially for EARENA, right? Remember what we saw of EARENA in day 1 of their Group B. They were able to get those 29 eliminations in Rondo, and then after that, they kind of just ended up dying off us. We're actually going to be looking at a comparison between Group Day 1 and also what they're doing here in the finals. And something that I want you to keep in mind is the placement that this team is currently being able to put up, being able to survive even longer, and the eliminations are even higher because they have been consistent with those eliminations.
They have been very consistent. It's been back-to-back games of just really good placement, good strategy, good synergy with the team as well. They look fairly confident. The lobby is hard. I'm going to say that. It is a very difficult lobby, night and day from the group stage, from the survival stage, but they are handling it very well. I do want to say very quickly, what I loved about the fight with 4thrives, right? That dip, the way they use the terrain, because there's a bit of a cliff area there, it's a dip, and then you got those 2 cliffs, and what actually they ended up using is they went off the cliff, back behind 4thrives, and then used that terrain where they couldn't actually see to move around in front of them as well. So it gave the illusion that they were everywhere at once when really they weren't. And for a team that is slightly struggling like 4thrives, that was just the death knell. So very well played by EA. Good knowledge of the terrain and great synergy overall.
It was a magic trick almost.
It was. It really was.
Max, there is something that has been pretty much pissing us off when we talk about Erangel, and that is the hot drops that we're seeing between NIGMA Galaxy and none other than ERA. It's good for NIGMA Galaxy right now, but ERA is just, they're just squandering their hopes.
Yeah, I mean, NIGMA Galaxy, you saw what we could do when they can actually get out of the hot drop, but here you go, Pachinki NIGMA Galaxy dropping there since the 1990s at this point, and Ida going to be joining up on this one. And initially I was like, okay, Ida, you should not be going for this hot drop. You know as a clear-up fact that NIGMA Galaxy will never go up this location. And it's almost getting to the point for me, Niptura, where I'm thinking, NIGMA Galaxy, maybe this would be a good opportunity for you to start leaving, because Ida are not just ruining your Erangels, they're ruining your entire tournament run so far.
Yeah, it's really weird, right? Because for NIGMA Galaxy, it's like Ida is the newcomers. They need to get out. Clearly, it's not working for them. They have 2 points over the entire day. 1, 2, that's it. But you're right, NIGMA Galaxy is ending up ruining their tournament chances as well, because we are seeing really good performances from NIGMA. I love how they've been playing, but they're just entering the zone way too late because of Ida.
Yeah, of course, we did say this game was good, right? Because they got out of the hot drop as a four-man team. They lose a single player. I promise you, they do not get a finish like that. They do not get that many points. So right now, NIGMA Galaxy, I would say there are other options available, and I understand it's your drop. You've been there for the longest time, but I do not care at this point which team leaves. One team has to leave. This is a waste of time, and it's making me angry, and I'm just looking at that on the early game.
Can I also just interject here and go, Ida, what are you doing? Because this is a team, remember, that got in through the group stage. They were second in their group. They had a fantastic second day. They won like 3 of the games. They were hyper aggressive. We know this is a team that can play very well, but they're wasting everything on a hot drop 3 times in a row. Again, they have 2 points. You're not gonna win on 2 points.
And teams are starting to notice this is such a waste of time. Like 4 Thrives, I think it was on one of the Erangels earlier, Niptura, they like just instantly third party it. And now teams are going around Pachinki waiting for the loot truck to come out, because they know no one is going to get that loot truck, because they're so focused on that clash between NIGMA Galaxy and Ida. Of course here, big respect, by the way, NIGMA Galaxy, the smokes and the way they started pushing these solo players, that was very well executed, but one mistake, one slight error, and you lose a player, and instantly your chances of a win dwindle to almost nothing.
Well, we know exactly what happened when 4 Thrives joined the party, right? NIGMA Galaxy lost a couple of players, and then we didn't really see them in that game. They went out fairly early on. They had to full send. Game 1, they had to full send to the beach and just kind of stay there. There was no opportunity for them to get any points whatsoever. So, yeah, for NIGMA, this is bad on both sides. I'm mad at Ida for initiating this every single game, but NIGMA need to figure out how to adapt to this.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out how to adapt to this. If I had to pick one team to stop hot dropping in Pachinki, it wouldn't be NIGMA, because NIGMA has been getting the better end of this, especially they showcased what they were able to do in the last match. They're getting the eliminations too, so NIGMA Galaxy, keep on doing your thing. If you're Ida, get the heck out of town. You need to find a different spot. But when we were talking about some of the, you're gonna pretty much see here just the finish of this engagement between these squads. You know what, Max, Lace, who would you want to see just give up this hot drop between NIGMA and Ida?
It's got to be Ida, right? Like
it has to be.
Like, they're not even getting any further into the late game. They should have just made the decision to sort of rotate from this position. I mean, you know, I was kind of touching on, I think, NIGMA Galaxy a little bit later into the zone, how they're making slow decisions. But again, this is slowing their decision. But Ida just,
Look, by the way, look on the left side of your screen. While they're still in their looting stage, technically, right? So hot drop's a bit weird, it's a bit different. You have NONGSHIM REDFORCE fighting 4 Thrives on their first rotation after the looting stage. This is, look, even here, you have the fight, Orangutan fighting Ulf. Everything is happening in the game. Teams are not going to wait for you. And while that's happening, you're still in your initial drop location and you have no scouting done. The loot truck, you can see on the left side of your screen, he came back for round 2. Round 2, and the fight is still not done. What are we doing?
It's okay, Max. This is Picado red buildings all over again. It's really annoying. It's Picado red buildings all over again, Max. I mean, we get so mad at that hot drop, and we still have the Miramars to go. So if either of you hot drop red building Picado, I am going to come over to your table, and I'm going to
moonwalk.
Be aggressive. Yes, I'm going to moonwalk.
Look, okay.
I'm going to hee-hee at you.
TLDR.
Very aggressively.
TLDR for the entire segment. We don't like it. End of story.
Yeah.
Unless you're NIGMA Galaxy. NIGMA Galaxy currently in 3rd place. You have EARENA right now in 1st place with 48 points. TIANBA continuing on those consistency of eliminations. This is the main story for TIANBA right now. 45 points, 37 coming from the elims. And if we start going down, we are seeing one team that has been going down as the day has been going on. And it's none other than AURORA, Max.
Yeah, unfortunately, I still have not seen the comeback of Doc, right? I would even take the dockening at this point. I would be like, I want to see something come out of it. But yeah, they've definitely been slowing down quite significantly. Keep in mind, they've got 11 placement points, sure, but they got second place on the first rondo. That's 6 placement points. After that, the rest of the day is only 5 placement points after 3 Erangels back to back to back. Quite disappointing, especially when it's just outside of Ferry Pier. I was expecting way more. They're slipping down, and especially when Ulf now, they just got a 4-man finish. You know, Ulf are going to be chasing for that podium spot.
I mean, for me, I'm not too worried about AURORA right now. They've had a good start to the day or start to the finals, and we do know that this is a team that really waits until the last minute to actually do something. They just do just enough to stay ahead. But the problem is when you're seeing teams like Ulf, like Vitality, we haven't even seen Vitality at their best yet. You know, teams like this that are going to be coming up and gaining that momentum as the days go on, AURORA are going to get left behind pretty quickly.
So you are worried or you're not worried?
I'm on the fence as of right now. At the end of the day, I'll be a bit worried.
Okay, because you say I'm not worried, and then you started sounding very worried to me.
I'm not too worried.
It started to sink in. She's like, oh, actually, this isn't looking too good.
She just kept saying more teams, and I'm like, okay. That sounds like you're contradicting yourself here. 4 Thrives ends up finding themselves here in the first page, but going here towards the second page, we really haven't seen much lays out of S2G. With FURIA, it's been a hit of a miss, and then we got some of the other squads there.
S2G are getting busy, right? But they are sort of like losing the contests on these fights. They're able to get the placement points. It's been great. Chicken dinners are coming through, but it's kind of like more of a gifted scenario in a lot of segments. But you've heard me about FURIA, guys. I'm not going to go on about that. But what
no driver's license.
I won't carry on about that. But look, I even just want to touch on like Vitality. We didn't really get to talk about them. They are playing incredibly scared. So
I'm back, guys. I'm back. Let's go.
I am also worried in that sense because like even in that final zone there, they had the western side to sort of scoop up behind NIGMA Galaxy, and they did nothing.
Yep. One team that I want to see more out of, especially towards that second page, is none other than Godlike. And I would love to see the player stats so far today, because this is a team that a lot of people were expecting to actually finish pretty high. And it has to come with the fragging power of S-Power. And right now, for S-Power, to give him a break, he is the only one that's performing for the squad, being able to average at least 1. But the rest of the squad is just not looking good.
It's looking pretty bad in terms of eliminations, and the reason why the eliminations are so low is look at their survival time. They're not even breaching the 20, and some of the players not even the 18-minute mark, which is not good in a lobby of this caliber if you want to be contending for that, let's say, top 5 situation right now. So Godlike, even looking back on this game, they should have pushed up onto, I think it was Ulf's compound, but they got very idle, because the thing is, compared to the group stage where some teams might do mistakes and you might be able to weasel your way in, here you have to take fights head on if you want to have a chance to get very late into those games, get those placement points. Godlike, in a lobby like this, you cannot be hesitant. We've seen in your group stage, you have that raw fragging power from S-Power, from Admino, even Sommei, and Mania is a great IGL, but you need to utilize it and take your chances.
Yeah, what I've noticed is Mania is making like these sort of scouting power plays, but the rest of the team is not supporting him, which they're getting caught out. So, I mean, it's surprising to sort of see that level that they're at right now, because Mania is making incredible decisions, but it looks like a few other sort of on the team are just kind of tunnel visioning into the wrong direction, and then that's when they're getting caught in.
Yeah, I think also one thing that we really need to think about, or they need to think about, is it seems like they keep going for positions that put them in a position to have to fight teams head on, and they're not succeeding in winning those fights. So if you want to make sure that you're actually going to get a position and be in there in the late game, you know, if you know that you're not really fragging out against these squads in the finals, then stop putting yourself in these tight positions in between teams that mean you have to frag your way out of them. Play a little bit more like Vitality, the way that they're on the edge. NIGMA Galaxy as well, they're on the edge. They try to just wait out other teams, take a fight here or there, but just survive and keep their players for later.
Survive. That's the name of the game, all right? Just survive. It's so easy. Why don't you do it, Godlike? Actually, I believe they'll be able to turn it around. It is their first time here at a finals international event for a lot of these players. S-Power, I'm still proud of you, brother. You're still putting up the numbers, and I think you're going to do even more as the day goes on, as the days do end up going on. But for right now, let's send it over to none other than the stylish man, Blank, and our special reporter, Kalaris.
Yes, the stylish man and the short man. I get it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We've got ourselves Mr. Black here to talk about
Oh,
everything
you're my
that's been going
special
on.
little reporter, aren't you?
Right, yeah. I'll try my very best to rise to the occasion.
My special little man here on the stage here.
Shut up and go away. All right, we've got TIANBA to talk about as well, of course, as they have looked stellar in
Via
terms
jo?
of their positioning and how they've been kind of playing these games out, Black.
847.
I'm so sorry. I do love you, bro. But honestly,
Huh?
there has been moments where the decision making has been fantastic. I think that the way that they are speedily going to sometimes their demise is actually astonishingly good, right? Because I think me and Jackie were talking about this. I don't know if you'd agree, but there are times where they'll make what feels like the best decision in a bad moment, right? Where a lot of teams would just stand by and probably get naded and be like, oh, it's over.
Well, Circles haven't been kind to them, so they've been able to kind of fight against some of that adversity. And I think that when you watched as QZZ was able to get MVPs on international stages this year alone, I think a lot of people, including Max and some pundits, etc., wanted extra people to be able to step up to the plate alongside him.
Sure.
Milu's been able to do that like twofold, which has been really phenomenal to watch so far.
Oh, Milu has been amazing.
Yeah.
Milu's been really, really good. It's fantastic to see. I mean, you were talking about it was FMVP for PMI, where he was able to get 39 eliminations over 7,000 damage for QZZ. But yeah, they have balanced the load in a big way. I think it's a really, really nice thing as well seeing A-King, because it very much reminds me the way that Alpha 7 used to play. They're not playing now.
Ignore that bit.
Ignore that bit. Let's just put that to the side for the time being. But yeah, A-King's kind of like the Revo of the team. He plays forward, he plays shotgun for the team. Milu's just very good in those clutch moments. And yeah, the load is spread out very, very evenly across the squad. Eagle is also a great survivalist. I think they have all the tools necessary to actually honestly win this at this point.
As you're talking, you're getting further away. Come back. It's fine. No. Please, no. Okay,
Where's
so
my box?
the thing is that I think when you look at TIANBA's performance so far, and we can wrap it up on this and move on to our next team, is that double chicken dinner that they got at the start of survival stage, huge revitalization for them to be able to get themselves
Lazarus moment
back on the road again and actually push to be able to find themselves in this state that they're in right now. What do you think?
Yeah, very, very good. I do think that that's what they needed, because the confidence came through. Every time I look down at Milu on the stage, right, it's very...
Like Milu.
I do like Milu. It's very heartwarming because there's... I like it when players are enjoying themselves, and Milu definitely enjoys himself. He's one of the smiliest guys I've seen. QZZ is a little bit more serious, I would say, other than the winning moments where, you know, he almost breaks his fingers on the high fives. That was funny. But I do think that for Milu, it's just nice to see a guy who's so good at the game, but also very much is passionate and enjoys his time in it. And he should be, because he's having an unreal run.
All right, let's move on to another team then, as we have Ulf, who has looked, I would say, towards some of these latest moments, pretty good as well. Obviously, they qualified
क्या लगता है guys, कौन जीतेगा?
last game survival win.
कौन जीतेगा?
Extremely important for their campaign as a whole, and they are one of the teams that a lot of people thought was going to be able to attain those top spots. Right now, their space control is looking good, especially in this last game.
Yes, very much so. I mean, I'm one of those believers. I'm an Ulf believer. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that Eren is one of my favorite players. Ketch also from way back when, MVP in PMPL Season 1 Spring.
He's not quite as old as me, but he is pretty
he goes
old. Way back.
He's old, yeah, but he's still got it in him. He's got the grizzled beard, he's a grizzled warrior. But he looks good. And I think that for Ulf, though, that last game was fantastic for me in particular, because we were talking about it backstage, right? And I said, if Ulf wins this game, I want to talk about them. But it was nice for me to be in like stage 6 and really believe in Ulf to actually win the game that they should be winning if they make the necessary movements, which was to take out TIANBA and slowly corral the rest of the squad. So the fact that they did one, kind of a prideful moment for me, because I was like, get in, lads. This is fine. You've got it.
And you liked your prediction.
I did, yeah. Also, I was quite chuffed about myself. Yes, that is right. Okay, 50-50.
Yeah, okay.
Great job, lads. Great job, me.
I think as well, you know, controlling that compound, it actually has great lines of sight on the south side. Any vulnerability normally comes from the north, which actually didn't really exist in that game due to the way the circles were shifting. So they had to turn all their attention to the east as the next main threat. And I think you're right, they prioritize those threats very well from a compound like that. So good stuff by Ulf so far. And let's turn our attention as well to EARENA, who has looked... It's funny because I'm a little bit conflicted by what EARENA's been putting up so far. Because even in this last game, I really appreciate the wide ramps that they're doing, but 4thRives had like almost zero opportunity to be able to react to the snowball coming down the hill and, you know, crushing them all. It was tough.
It was tough. I mean, EARENA is just a strange team right now where I'm not sure if they're really good at the game or very lucky
which even they, I don't think, are very sure about this point in time. I remember a time when Schweppes, you know, was sweeping aside the competition, but again, I think EARENA just hasn't quite hit that full stride yet, but they do have the massive potential, Kale.
He's been able to win twice on the stage in the past, Schweppes, with, of course, Vampire in the past. But anyway, thank you very much, Blank, for joining me here down on the stage. It is time to head on over to Glitter with an update.
Because there's a lot going on in chess today, and a lot of it is very CC heavy. So talk us through what's been going on.
So currently the game going on behind us at the moment is Magnus Carlsen, the tournament favorite, playing for Team Liquid against Nihal Sarin for SAUL.
Okay.
So pretty big game, mainly for Team Liquid. You know, SAUL have popped up across a few games, but not really near the top of the leaderboard. So Team Liquid, I'm not going to pretend like they're near the top at the moment either, to be honest with you, because they're probably lower down than SAUL at the moment. But they're expected to get a win here this weekend, considering Magnus Carlsen being the chess player that he is. And he is up 2-0 at the moment as well. So even if he gets one more draw through the next two games, he'll be progressing to the semi-finals. Earlier today, we had the first quarterfinal, which was Denis Lazovic playing against the Na'Vi representative, and he managed to get a win. So that's huge for AGL as well, considering they're trying to keep the top of this leaderboard. They pretty much need to outperform Falcons, which in itself, you know, it sounds kind of doable, but then you realize they've got two players. One of them's already progressed through, and Ali Reza Farouja's kind of playing now and beating his opponent as well.
Okay.
So Hikaru Nakamura already through to the semi-finals, which lines up a Hikaru Nakamura versus Denis Lazovic, AGL versus Falcons in the semi-final.
I mean, to be fair, Denis was trying to almost preempt the win. He was practicing putting the key into the trophy yesterday. So, you know, maybe that's a good omen?
I mean, the thing is, he was literally putting his opponent's key that he'd beaten in the winning trophy. So it wasn't even his own key. He was like knocking someone out and then putting them on a pedestal straight away. But yeah, it's been a good one over here in chess. You know, there's so many club championship storylines that kind of lay on chess at the moment, considering, you know, AGL have been knocked out of PUBG Mobile, have been knocked out of several other competitions as well. So Team Falcons have to be outperformed by AGL if AGL want to keep that top spot. But then again, Falcons are in Rocket League as well. So they're kind of in a great position to go far in the club championship this week.
And of course, already have managed to secure some points being in the top 4. So it's going to be a very close race is what we're hearing right now. And chess is going to be a big impact on just how close that race for the leaderboard is. We actually have way more matches coming up on the rest of the day. So
here at PMWC at EWC 26. We got to talk about AURORA. I would love to see AURORA player stats because there is one player in particular that you're not happy with his performance. You're over here like George St. Pierre, Max. You're like, I'm not happy with your performance. Ooh. That's exactly what it sounds like because for this squad, I mean, they were able to start off hot, but they're just gonna keep going down that leaderboard.
Yeah, it's not even just Doc, actually. I feel like I kind of want to see more from Reefus as well. That has kind of like been underperforming a little bit. Even Ziol. Ziol, I can give him a pass because he had some incredible grenades early on Rondo. So sure, maybe it doesn't showcase itself in the stats, but in general, I feel like Ziol has definitely also been pulling his weight. But top, it's been the top show. Getting almost 3 average eliminations per game is crazy in a lobby of this caliber, but it's not enough when only one player's putting up those numbers. Niptura, Doc, Reefus, again, Zioli get a pass, but Doc and Reefus, I want to see those guys doing well here in these coming Miramars.
Oh, absolutely. We know they can offer so much more than they are right now. I also want to give Reefus a half pass as well, because similarly to Ziol, we did see Reefus have some really cool information scouting off angles, like way across certain areas of the zone, really trying to get as much information as possible for his team. So in that regard, yeah, I do feel like he's kind of pulling his weight a little bit, but yes, overall I do agree with you, Max, that all of them need to really be stepping up to the plate here. 4th place is okay. It's not far behind first, but we just want to see more because we know that they can do so much more.
Yeah, and for me, no pass for Reefus. Okay, Reefus, I expect a lot better from you. You're the only player right now that hasn't gotten one of the international MVPs in that squad, so the pressure is on you. Okay, any passes that I had for him was last year. This is a new year. I want to see more survival time out of him as well, but here we go. We're looking at the overall place. We're talking about TIANBA. We're talking about Flash. We're talking about some of these teams that we need to see more placement points out of.
Yeah, I want to ask Max, if he were to be an embodiment of a coach, you pick Team Flash, right?
Oh, if I wanted to coach a team, which team I would coach?
No, so I think Flash was wasn't that your
They're my prediction, yeah.
Yeah, your prediction.
Yeah.
Obviously being 7th place there, not doing terribly, but come on,
23
have
points
your
behind.
inner coach. What do you think they need to do to be able to skyrocket up that leaderboard so your prediction is correct?
Oh, it's complicated exactly to pinpoint what's going on with.
मेरे को ये मिल ही नहीं रहा.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot right now. I didn't prepare a segment for this, but no, okay. No, Team Flash. I feel like
you thrive
actually
on this.
There was one fight that was versus 4 Thrives that I find interesting. That was actually the one that happened last game that eventually was won by Ulf. And I feel like what happened with Team Flash, they got caught off guard and they didn't find a good way to get themselves back up on their 2 feet and get ready for the fight, which under pressure, that is what you need to be able to do. Flash is a great team, right? If they take a fight they're ready for, when they're not ready for it, they just tend to crumble a little bit. So I don't think it's a gameplay issue per se. I feel like it's more of a mindset issue that Flash need to try and resolve.
As we're looking at the second page here, I'm also going to be looking at HORAA Esports, Neptura. This squad, I mean, they have the fan base here. They have the support from the fans. But right now, in the second page, knowing HORAA Esports, they're not going to be happy with this performance.
No, they're not. And I think it's a bit of an odd one, right? Because I think it's hard to say, like Max, right? It's hard to pinpoint what exactly is going on with them. But typically, this is a team that likes to play edge, likes to survive, likes to wait until the last few phases of the game to really start spreading out and taking third-party opportunities. They're very good at those third parties, and we're just not seeing that from them. They try sort of half-heartedly making good on some of these plays, but they get overthrown very, very quickly by these more aggressive players and more aggressive teams. And so they just seem to be a little bit too passive. I know HORAA tends to be called passive a little bit more, but this is not a passive team when it comes to those fights, and except for today, it just kind of feels like that's what they're the name that they're living up to, unfortunately.
I mean, it's an incredible start from them, though, from the first couple of matches. So, like, obviously, we talk about teams that sort of start out strong, start out weak. I think they started out incredibly strong, but it seems like, obviously, coming into these later matches and everybody's reading the zones a little bit better in these positionings, they are getting caught out on that. So I do agree with you in that sense. But look, it's just kind of that balance of mentality that they're sort of struggling later in these matches, but I feel like even though it's just today, I feel like tomorrow it's going to be like a little bit of a different scene from them in the start. I do believe so. I do believe they have it. They've got the fans to back them up, of course. I'm backing them up. Maybe not for the rest of today, but tomorrow.
I was about to say, you're giving them a break until tomorrow. No, these fans, I want to see it. They want to see it coming up in Miramar.
I mean, yeah, the thing is, right, is that, okay, if you only had, like, your typical rule set, sure, fair enough. You can have one day off. We got Smash ruling. You might just have only 2 games there on that day 3, and you just don't know how it's going to go. If it happens like it happened in the Macau Invitational, boy, oh boy, that was crazy. We had 5 teams in the Smash zone at the same time. Eventually, NONGSHIM REDFORCE did get the win, stealing it away from FURIA, but Smash ruling in play, you just don't know how long you really have, Niptura, so you got to make the most out of the games you're currently playing, because otherwise that gap, it might be impossible to come back from in that final day.
Oh, exactly, and there's your point brings up 2 teams to mind for me. The first one we've already talked about, AURORA. I said that they typically are a day 3 team, which makes things very complicated when you get to that Smash ruling. Exactly. What day 3, right? The other one is for Thrives, because again, they do very well, typically, very well on day 1, because day 2, they tend to dip. The momentum just drops significantly, and then they can bring it back up on day 3. Again, what day 3? We could very well have a scenario where day 3 is really non-existent. So for those 2 teams in particular, that's really scary thought.
Yeah, day 3 will still
Guys, कौन जीतेगा बताओ?
Depending on how the leaderboard is looking, and depending on what other teams end up doing, we could end up just seeing 2 games because Smash
अरे
is in effect. So just to remind everybody, the way that ends up working out is when we end up going to Smash Roll on the last day, whoever's in first place on the previous day, you get plus 10 points if I'm not mistaken, and then that becomes what we like to call the Smash Zone. Once a team is able to pass that threshold, in the next game, if they do end up winning, or whichever game after that, if they do end up winning, they would end up winning via Smash Roll. And this is something that we kind of you were especially hitting on just now, Max, because it could come into play. If a team is too far ahead, I mean, especially with Rondo starting off as well, it could be an easy 10 points for that squad. And later on, we can see teams just readjusting their playing style, because all they have to do is just win, baby.
But it also adds so much pressure.
Yes.
Right? We do have to highlight it. I mean, I want to take you guys back to PMGO Season 1, Jakarta, right, in Indonesia. 4 Thrives, what was it, 50 plus point lead after day one? Like something crazy like that. They just destroyed everyone in those 6 games. And then comes over day 2. They're like, oh, wait a minute. We try and get into the smash zone. They get in the smash zone very early. Pressure gets to them. Ulf is like, oh, you're crumbling. You're having a bad time. And they catch back up to that team and almost take it away in that last Miramar. But luckily enough, 4 Thrives do maintain that top position. But the smash ruling is a blessing and a curse based on how you approach it. And for 4 Thrives, I am scared if they do get into the smash zone once again, how are they going to perform? Because back in that last event, it was looking shaky. They can't afford to shake up badly here back to back.
Yeah, that team, they ended up pretty much just showing us what we have seen in the past with 4 Thrives, which is the biggest question mark, and that is the mental state of the players, because when things don't end up going their way, they do end up getting into their mind.
Yeah.
For them, being able to be champions, though, for 4 Thrives is going to be looking different. For a team that's wanting to become champions, none other than NIGMA Galaxy, they have had a great start here today, but I know Jackie got a chance to talk to them.
Hello everyone, Jackie Powers here, live from Pmwc at Esports World Cup, and I'm joined by the legend himself, Ralph, from, of course, NIGMA Galaxy. Now, buddy, I gotta get in there and ask, the pop-off moment, Ida's been hot dropping you every game. It feels like every time we're in Erangel, they're willing to sacrifice their own points to target your team. What's going through your mind in these moments? And what was that like, kind of asserting the dominance of, we keep winning this, and I'm going to prove it standing up on the stage?
I mean, Ida knows we've been landing in Pushinki.
भाई अब सबसे बिग वो है भाई कि क्या गॉडल और ओजी ने अपने ड्रॉप चेंज किए होंगे मिरामार में या ड्रॉप क्लैश होगा. अगर ड्रॉप क्लैश हुआ तो जीजी भी हो सकता है दोनों में से एक टीम का. मैं तो चाहता हूँ ना भाई थोड़ा सा होल्ड कर लो. फायदा कोई और टीम उठा जाएगी, बात ही है बस, अपनी टीम में से कोई नहीं है.
I mean, we kind of mirrored that on the cast in the moment, thinking it's doing more damage to them than it is you guys in these moments. Obviously, let's talk a little bit more on a positive term. It's been pretty good for you guys so far in finals. It feels like the comms right now on the team are really clean as well. Do you think this is going to be a NIGMA winner? You're looking to take the trophy home this year?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we're prepared more than ever to win the trophy. We're trying our best. Everything is going our way for now. It's a good start, but the tournament is still long, so we keep it up, keep the momentum, and try to grab that trophy.
There you go. Respectful as always with some brilliant takes. Always lovely to chat to Ralph. There you go. NIGMA Galaxy. Let's see if they can do it.
I see the key crusher on stage. I think, yeah, that's cool, but it could be cooler.
भाई स्की क्रशर ही तो भाई क्रेजी है यार.
That's why I found a crusher of my own. Through totally legal means. Now let's crush this watermelon.
ये रिएक्शन क्या था? हेलो, ये क्या? अरे यार, क्यूब तोड़ दिस. आईफिल टावर.
For T1. Okay, France was stronger than I thought. Don't need soap when you're in esports. Squeaky clean.
लॉल. अब क्या तोड़ा है? अच्छा कैन. दीदी कैसे आवाज निका.
Can of cola. Esports! What time is it? Time to go.
Lol dudes.
I love seeing that. I love seeing them just crashing other stuff, you know? What's one thing, Lace, what's one thing that if you had the power to crush it, you would end up crushing? Besides Max Man's hopes for Team Flash.
Damn it. No.
Why?
No, I think, you know what, 7, you.
Oh, wait, what?
I've got to take the shade off of Max at some point, and I need someone to pick on, and I just was kind of looking in your direction, and yeah.
How would you do that though? What's like?
We don't need to go into details, Max. What would you be crushing?
7 also. What would I be crushing? You know
Who would I be crushing?
Who would I be crushing? No. Ooh, can we do Niptra first? I don't know.
No, don't do me. On the spot. Come on.
I would be crushing the key of Ida because they're making me very angry. I would take it like this, and it would not. The tournament would not even end, and I would just take it and crush it and turn it into a paste and squash it under my feet. So I don't know. I really don't like the hot drop, as you can tell. Probably, I don't like it. It's not fun.
How about you?
He's looking at me. I can see him on the monitor. He's looking at me very intensely. He is 7, and I don't have an answer.
Oh, you're gonna have to find one.
You know what?
You have to pick something.
Oh no! Don't put it on me. This is bullying.
Keep it.
This is bullying.
Come on.
What's it gonna be?
Instagram DMs.
Actually, that's a good answer. That's a good answer, actually.
Instagram DMs. Interesting.
See how long it takes to crush the level 3 helmet for PUBG Mobile. That would be 6. You know what? For next PMWC, how about we crush that? We'd love to end up seeing that, or maybe one of the
squeaky chicken.
The what?
Squeaky chicken. Crush that. See what happens.
Jeez, come down there in Farmville. As we're gonna be going into Miramar, one thing that we've been noticing. Oh my gosh, talking about Miramar, perfect time too, as we're seeing some of the bloopers that we have had so far. A PMWC, Aurora with this one. That one hurt to see. But this was honestly ended up working out for EA, especially because they jumped at the same time.
Yeah, it did. That was the only redeeming quality, but otherwise it was a sticky situation that they had to get themselves out of. So yeah, GG on that one, but yeah.
Did they hit the light post?
A little bit.
You say they got the light knocked out of them.
That one, that was my favorite one so far, Max.
That's so good.
You know how hard it is to do that? It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot replicate that. Also, XEY, when he was going over with a glider, he was actively getting shot at, by the way. Can't see all of the shots connecting, but some of them do. And before he explodes, he jumps out. That's some James Bond stuff right there in PUBG Mobile, and he makes it onto the tower. And actually, that position was really big for NONGSHIM REDFORCE in that game. I wish they got something similar in the finals, though. It's not been the case so far.
Oh, this one stinks. Yeah, that one stinks. Just because they're not here anymore. You can even see it with Blank when he brought up Alpha 7. It was like, ooh.
Oh, never
The reigning champions of PMGC, not in the finals of PMWC.
That's like, ooh, maybe not. HORAA. Oh, we love self-nading in this household. It's just so much fun, and it's dumb. But here we go. You do have it occasionally. Here we go, Aleka. I mean, and it's, you know, any team can do it. We had A7, we've had HORAA, 721 GS now.
Sometimes you're just such a powerful player that you need to be humble and eliminate yourself from the competition. God damn, we have some humble PUBG mobile players.
We do. Oh!
It's like what we do, Max. It's pretty much this is exactly the playing style when we end up playing. We're just so good at the game that we had to give the other teams a chance, give the other players a chance. We're like, okay, time to nade ourselves.
You have to intentionally throw sometimes. You know, if you want to give other people, the noobs, a chance, unlike us, they need to be given an opportunity at redemption in these games and get those chicken dinners, because otherwise they're just not going to get anything done. So yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and as we're going to be going into Miramar, we're still waiting for the matches to be ready here. That's why there's been a bit of a delay. As we're going to be going into Miramar, there is some drops that we've been kind of keeping an eye on, especially for Godlike and HORAA, and you can see Max just starting to get even more and more red. I love how the shade just went from like your regular color to now starting to get a little bit more red with this hot drops. But the thing is, with Godlike, one thing that they have adjusted, Lace, is with Godlike, they haven't hot dropped before. They did hot drop at the start of the tournament, but they realized it wasn't going to be going their way, and they stopped hot dropping.
I mean, they make these decisions based off of, I guess, all their play styles from previous matches. I like the fact that they're trying to make different decisions to see what can benefit them. Obviously, they need to capitalize on more eliminations, so seeing hot drops come out of them is better, but also they do have the power and the great positioning to go into these final circles. So when we bring into Smash Rule, and if obviously they can catch up that leaderboard in eliminations, this is a team that can finalize it and break it out by getting that win at the end of the day. So even though their eliminations are slow now, say we come into tomorrow, they can capitalize on these eliminations, moving on up the leaderboard, they are a team that will be able to hit the smash roll because they can capitalize on the wins. What are you guys doing?
I believe so. I think they could put themselves into that position, and we're just showing our support here. We're looking at some of the teams that we ended up predicted, and for everybody currently watching at home, for everybody here in the arena as well, don't forget that you can go into the EWC Play app and put in your predictions. Turn in with just scan that real quick right here. Just go ahead and scan it and see what teams you're going to be selecting. I ended up selecting AURORA being in the top 3. This is the first time that in a long time that I haven't picked them to win.
That's fair. I think that is fair. I wish they would win, but they're not. The way it's going, at least it doesn't look insanely likely unless they have a massive comeback in the next couple of days. But 4Thrives, also a team that needs to step up because, look, I've been supporting you guys for ages and ages. And you won PMGO, and I want you to have a back-to-back. I know you can do it. Do it.
Yeah, ages. So many ages.
Oh wait, this is 4Thrives. I thought that was HORAA. I can't touch that. Okay, I thought that was HORAA. I'm not. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I thought.
Bad. No.
I love that Tura just kicks it too. She doesn't even try to pick it up.
Okay, yeah, I can't touch any 4Thrives merchandise. Okay, I need to.
By the way, huge shout out to Jackie because while we're waiting for the game to start here, Jackie has been running around getting some interviews, and I think he was able to get another interview with maybe a fan this time.
We're still roaming around talking to the fans. We're going to see what sort of teams people are enjoying over here and who they think's going to win. Excuse me, buddy. Who do you think's going to win the event?
Ulf, I think it's a win. Yeah? Yes.
Let's go. Big up for Ulf.
Right. Let's go, Ulf.
Ulf. What about you, brother? Ulf.
All right, hell yeah.
So we got some old fans in the house. Thank you, boys. Let's roam in a bit. Hey guys, 4Thrives. Hey, okay, there we go. Got some 4Thrives fans in the house. Who's your favorite player on 4Thrives?
Of course, all, but I will go with Huzafa and Falak.
Okay.
Yeah, but
there's been a lot of fans for Falak. What do you think it is? Is it how he plays the game or just his personality? What do you like about him?
how is it played? He's an aggressive player, so and personality as well. Yeah, so yeah.
What about all 4Thrives here in terms of thinking they're going to win it? You a big fan of 4Thrives?
Yeah, we are especially came from Pakistan to support them. We are here for our team and we love them all. They represent our country and represent us, so we are here to support them.
Have you guys been getting loud throughout the event as well, giving them your energy? I imagine that. I've been hearing a lot of 4Thrives cheers. That coming from you guys?
Yeah, that's definitely us. We are here to support our team, to cheer them.
All right. Good luck with the event. Fingers crossed for 4Thrives. They've been looking great. I'm going to roam on, see what else we got. Enjoy the show. What we got going on down here? Hello, brother. How you doing? Yeah? Who do you think's going to win the event?
Okay, particularly I can't say anything for the first day because it's going to be a tough competition. It's the EWC man all over the world. Everyone is competitive in this game. So let's wait till tomorrow so then I can say who can win. I know the game, I know how the game works. So let's just wait patiently. First day is a good day for everyone. Let's hope my team win, HORAA.
We want to see HORAA win. If they're gonna, you'd love to see a big HORAA victory.
Yeah. I love to see that, but still, I say.
भाई साहब ने पूरे बात घुमा दी, लास्ट में जाके कह रहा है HORAA. अरे पहले तुम बोल रहे थे कि भाई मैं तो सपोर्ट नहीं करता, फर्स्ट डे है ये वो.
Let's go find out what's going on in the other sides of the arena.
Avli, I need you to cover the STC arena today.
Ooh, it's gonna be tough.
Why?
Because I have no interest in doing that.
Come on, we need you over there.
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go to the beach just really quick, and if the games are still going on by the time I get back, I'll say a couple words.
The beach is 5 hours from here. I wish Avli cared about esports more than anything in the world.
That's a candy bar.
It's worth a shot. Avli, what are you doing?
I'm here for EWC. I love esports.
More than anything. So you can cover STC Arena?
I'm gonna cover it all.
That's great. Well, let's get you over
I
there.
want a key.
No, you can't have a key. Keys are only for clubs. Yeah, okay. We'll figure out your key.
Great, let's go!
Okay.
अरे भाई स्टार्ट कर दो यार
Phenomenal job. Everyone's really excited about your work.
I just love esports
नींदी आई
so much.
Just kidding guys, just
Well,
kidding.
I'm gonna ask about getting you a raise because you deserve it.
I don't need a raise. I have my key.
How did you? Can I see that?
Mm-hmm.
Athlete. Did you take this from somebody?
No. No. No, 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 don't do that! We were having such a nice tournament! Why does it matter? We were having such a nice tournament!
Okay, it's your key. It's your key.
ये क्या था?
Probably would have got crushed anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to run into that because that is scary. Talking about scary, we had some hot drops that we were talking about with Godlike versus HORAA. This squads, I mean, the only thing that would suck for those squads is that they're currently on that second page, Max. That's why we're saying we don't want to see any hot drops from those two squads.
Nobody wants to be Ida 2.0. Okay, sorry. You know
It's
what?
fair.
If you're an Ida fan, I'm sorry. I'm gonna start. I'm just memeing at this point. No, but they didn't do the hot drop in their respective group, right? Which was Group A back then, if I'm not mistaken, or the other one, but one of the groups. And they didn't go for it. But the reason why they didn't go for the hot drops, really, the real reason is because the planes were very focused over to the eastern side and the southern side, meaning La Cobreria was not in reach. I want to see a plane, right, Niptura, where it goes and reaches La Cobreria, and we see as a fact that HORAA and Godlike, and hopefully also TIANBA, that might drop there, will not commit to the fight because, yeah, right now they're not in a good position. They cannot afford to lose points, and I think they're not going to commit to it, but it could get bad.
And for the Godlike, I mean, you don't want to go up against a team that's currently being able to put up even more illims than you, that usually ends up being more aggressive, like you were talking about in the stance of HORAA.
Yeah, no, again, yeah, if they were doing much better in the last 4 matches, if they had, you know, if they were top 5, top 6, something like that, and they were feeling really good and looking very confident, maybe you could try to contest the drop, right? But the way it stands, honestly, for either of these teams, I don't think either of them should really try and contest this. It really is down to who had it first and up to the other team to kind of figure out where else they want to go, because I'm not confident that either of those teams would win against each other. I think it's a 50-50.
Even if you lose a player, right, it just hurts your potential performances onto Miramar. So yeah, I do think that Godlike, talking to S-Power, you and me, right, Seven, we had a bit of a chat with them. He's like, you know what, it's not worth it. They had that first hot drop onto, I believe it was Hustler Crew, onto Erangel in their group stage, and like, you know what, it's just not worth it. Let's give it up. And I think that was one of the best changes in this entire tournament, was from Godlike, and I want to see that bleed into Miramar going into today.
Maturity, honestly, from the first time being at a global event, especially in finals, and well, during group stages, it ended up happening. But maturity out of that player for S-Power, saying we don't want to continue with the hot drops. We want to stop that. We see that it's going to end up hurting our performance. And Lace, I want you to put your mindset into a coach right now, into the biggest hype coach for some of their squads. Godlike and HORAA, which team are you going to be picking, and what are you going to be telling them if they do decide to hot drop, or if they don't decide to hot drop?
Just get it together, man. No. Look, Godlike, and because, if we were just saying S-Power, their adaptation to each and every game deserves to get a little bit further, and I just hope that you guys can find that great little key that you need to be able to push through into those final zones and capitalize on those eliminations. They have it in them. You've got it in you, and I believe that you will be able to do that. Obviously, we may need a little bit more time to sort of
the OP yaar.
I just like the way that this team calculates and puts in a strategy. Might not work out for them, but then they'll try a new strategy that they'll be able to solidify a lot more in this competition. So look, I think they can do it.
Yeah, especially for both teams being in the second page. You want to be able to build up the momentum. We've seen some teams being able to build up momentum and just carry it on throughout the matches. Only 3 days here at PMWC at EWC 26, the finals. We've been sending it to Jackie over and over again. Then I want to see what Hot Jukes and Blank are up to.
Thank goodness the group stage and the survival stage is done. Now we can finally kick back and save our voices for a little bit.
Playing some pool was a good time. It's been an incredible event so far, honestly, in Paris. Very, very fun. I mean, we're here right now in the Players Lounge, which is honestly ginormous. I think the first place we saw when we came in. I'm trying to hit some trickies right now, but it ain't happening. Also, I just want to let everyone know that I play pool. But I don't really, I play snooker. So this is very different for me.
It's not the same thing, not the same thing at all. Matter of fact, I've never even seen a snooker table in real life. This is the game to play. I thought it was only one singular game.
Yeah, I'm gonna break the rules.
Okay, what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I think I'm gonna break the rules in terms of where I'm putting.
He is looking to take the shot. Will he hit the stripe? Little bounce shot. There we go. Well, you know, we're getting things figured out here. Let's see if I can finally hit one of these things.
Okay. So what have you thought about the tournament so far? I mean, for me, tournament's been great. I've really enjoyed it. It's been insane. There's been some crazy moments. That's a good shot. It's a good shot too. Fourth rows look fantastic. I mean, Orangutan Godlike coming in over towards that top 5 is just some crazy stuff. Couldn't believe it. I think everyone I've talked to whilst they've been here saying they're having a really good time. Again, everyone's really taken care of here as well. Plenty of stuff that we're taking advantage of as well. Honestly, that's the big thing. Like, we're having actually kind of a
miss.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, Hikaru might offer a rook trade here. That would be, okay, or he does that. We can't forget, you can make faces, right, and everything, but there's still a... Wow, they just agree. I was just about to give this whole spiel about why, you know, 50 seconds, but first game is a draw.
It ends in a draw, and it's Hikaru Nakamura who makes a move and offers that draw on his screen, accepted by Denis Lazovic with that knight retreat right now. Game 2 about to begin. It will be Denis Lazovic with the white pieces. But we have to talk about that moment. And I'm glad that Denis doesn't realize it, because he did take a pause before capturing the pawn. We would have had a completely different narrative had he given a check. It's check captures threats. You always look for checks in a position, Levy.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's still a reason we're talking about them and they're playing, right? So the percent chance that they miss something like that, they both missed it. It happens in chess. You have mutual blindness. You have a respect for the quality of the moves that your opponents are making. And you both kind of think the game is supposed to follow a flow. You don't just think, oh, one person's just going to slip on, you know, on ice and boom, hit their head. Like, that's not how either of them is really processing. So, as always there, Denis Lazovic, full of emotion after that one.
It's also the kind of moment, if someone pats you on your back, you know there's something to look for. You find it in under 1 second right there. Play.
Yes. एग्नेस ये कंप्लीट हो चुका। हंस जीते इधर से, हंस आ रहा है। एक सेकेंड, 1 ऑन वो था क्या? सीधा एग्जिट थर्ड प्लेस पे ये तो। यहाँ से अर्जुन भी हार गए।
Just be able to lash out with different first moves. I'm also going to just talk about what happened in their previous massive encounter back in February at the Speed Chess Championship. 26 games were played between these two players. Denis won that match with a 1-point margin. Today is just the best of 6, and it was exactly that win against Hikaru Nakamura that got Denis to Paris, that got him to the Esports World Cup. A win today, and it's the finals for him.
And let's not forget, Hikaru was 3 or 4 moves away, and we do have a queen spawn, but Hikaru was 3 or 4 moves away from tying that match. It really came down to the last 3 or 4 seconds, and we could be having a totally different conversation. So Denis playing the Catalan, very famous opening, very solid opening, very interesting opening. Hikaru playing, I have no idea what. I have never seen this in my life.
It started as a Tarash opening, has sort of transposed into a Catalan structure with the white bishop. The entire center is gone. A very symmetrical pawn formation right here. 4 versus 4 on one side, 2 versus 2 on the other. The problem for black is development as quickly as possible, and that's what they're doing on that left flank. Hikaru trying to challenge that white bishop, getting his own on the c6 square.
This is where 99% of chess players on Earth drown against Denis Lazovic. He gets you in a position where even though the pawns are the exact same, even though the pieces are the exact same, he applies the pressure. He's like, honestly, I don't know if he's even better already at positional chess than Magnus was at the same age. At the same age, at 19, right? He is so good. His role model in many ways, the way he plays, is very Magnus-like. You know, this kind of turning the screw and everything. So I really like the way that he plays. But I think Hikaru's going for like a game-killing mode here, right? He went totally symmetrical, and that's what you play when you're unambitious with black. You want the games with black to be draws, and you want to play for a win with white.
It is a
Let's
traditional
go.
second white, getting the pieces and the pawns off the board. The bishop does land on that diagonal. What you pointed out about Denis's style, very mature for his age. He also handles the endgames, which are traditionally known as anti-young player chess, incredibly well.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, to be clear, I do think Magnus is the best. You know what I'm saying? But given the amount of resources that these players have now, you know what I'm saying? Like, Denis has hundreds, if not thousands, of opportunities to play Magnus, Hikaru, all the other best players in the world. When Magnus was 19, it was not the same thing. When Hikaru was 19, Denis's entire lifetime ago. He's double his age. Like, it's incredible. And that just speaks to the longevity. But he's had so many times to practice and improve his chess. And why is Hikaru's heart rate 130?
I'll just say one thing, Levy. You do not have to tell us that you think Magnus is the best, because all we need to do is go to your YouTube channel to make sure that's the reality.
If you had a YouTube channel, Tanya, I have heard you cast. Listen, if players want us to not talk about Magnus as much, they got to win some freaking tournaments. That's what I got to say about the players, all right? Guys, win a tournament or two. You know, we're going to talk about other players, too.
Well, Magnus Alireza will be in action after this one, but who is going through the finals in this one? Now, right now, one thing's for sure, that a lot of pieces are coming up. Rooks challenging each other, the bishops challenging each other. Is this racing towards a draw right now? Black's about to get the king to the center before getting the knight out, so that there are no infiltration squares that the white rook has on the 7th rank.
This is a very weird position for most people watching, because Black hasn't moved a knight or a rook. But white has no way in with the rook. The last entire second half of the board there is covered, and you bring the king here because you want to bring the knight out, but you want to bring the
भाई स्टार्ट होगा क्या आज के दिन में? नहीं होगा.
bring the knight out to c6. You want to go to d7.
Full boring है यार.
Protected. So Denis is waiting for Hikaru to move the knight, because then his rook would get in.
आज कुछ तो इशू है. है जी. अच्छा, उस पे लेटा हुआ मसाज टेबल पे. भाई साहब मसाज हो गई हो तो गेम हो जाता शुरू। गाइस मैं फिर से एफ पे हूं, क्योंकि अभी गेम तो स्टार्ट हो नहीं रहा है। एक काम ही कराता हूँ इतना, क्या ही बोले।